Hello, my little ninjas. My name's Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. And welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. And I am just loving Independence Day. Right? Independence Day. Oh, I love Independence Day. I love independence. I love freedom. Oh, it's the American way in our comply or die police state. Right? Must have freedom, must fight for freedom, must love liberty. I don't see that happening. Certainly not with anybody in our government. You know, they like to pretend and make big speeches and oh, I love freedom. We have to fight for freedom. And then they're like, yeah, those people shouldn't be allowed to do that. You know, either you love freedom or you don't. There isn't like this middle ground. People like to say, oh, well, you can't do that, you can't do that. You know, you can't murder people, you can't hurt people, you can't pistol whip them, you can't rob them. It's not that you can't smoke marijuana or do whatever other substance you want. It's not that there's a bazillion rules that say you can't, you can't, you can't, you can't, you can't. And it's not about safety. The majority of them are not about safety. The majority of them are about keeping you contained, keeping you, in your place. So, and then there's all this psychological attack to keep you in your place, and cannabis is a big freedom thing. In my opinion, cannabis is one of our number one freedom issues on the books right now. You know, this is people still in this country being persecuted for growing flowers, for picking flowers, for adding flowers to their daily menu, to their daily meals. Like any other herb that you might add to your daily meals. The cannabis is a huge freedom issue. And that's why I'm always talking about it. It's not so much that I'm a stoner. I'm a proud stoner, by the way. It's not so much that I'm a stoner as that, and the reason I say that is because I've had legal cannabis for 18, 19 years now, right? I've been a medical patient, cannabis medical patient for, card carrying for 18 or 19 years. So it's not that, this freedom is for me. I can even grow marijuana. Nobody else in this state, unless a doctor says you can do it, can grow marijuana. I can even do that. So it's not, again, so much for me as just the ideal of freedom. Why are you making laws in the land of liberty, in the land of the free, to hold people down? To suppress speech, all this suppression of speech, everywhere we see YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, the government saying that, the biggest source of misinformation on the COVID-19 is coming from the Facebook. Who's misinforming who here, right? And since when are people not allowed to say something contrary to what the official story is? Because in my opinion, we've always been able to say something until now. Back when we were talking about September 11th, which seems like a really much longer time ago than it should be. We should be talking about September 11th every day. Because that's where it all went wrong. It was headed in a wrong direction for a long time, but that's when the big comply or die police state went into overdrive. That's when the NSA started saying, oh, we have to listen to everyone. That's when our government, our Justice Department said, of course the U.S. government has the right to torture U.S. citizens. Alberto Gonzales. Every time you see Alberto Gonzales on TV, remember, he wrote a memo called the Torture Memo. Type in Torture Memo Gonzales. And you will find that Alberto Gonzales wrote this torture memo, which says it is just fine to torture citizens of the United States. Okay, this is the government. Like I said, this is where it all went wrong. Is the September 11th. It was going wrong for a while, but this is when it went into overdrive. So it should be talked about every day. There's no doubt in my mind, and I hope that it becomes this giant topic really soon, because it should be. My point being that on this incredibly sensitive topic, September 11th, ooh, rah, we all got to sign up and run over to Afghanistan to kill people that we don't even have a clue who they are. We have to, ooh, rah, you can't question the government on, and that's a whole part of it too, is we went from freedom, right? We went to the land of liberty, the land of the free. We went from that to you can't question the government. Why are you questioning the government? And now we're in this place where if you do question the government, you will be penalized. People have their whole life on Facebook, and Facebook goes, nope, you're out of here. You will be penalized if you go outside the official story. Does that sound like the freedom that we fought for in so many wars, right? We fight for freedom, we fight, that's what the cops are supposed to be about. Keeping people from oppressing your freedom, right? Protecting you when someone's trying to take away your life. Oh, I'm walking around having this wonderful life, and this person comes up to take my wallet, to mess up my wonderful life. And that's what the cops are supposed to be about, to protect your freedom. That's not what they're doing. We see again and again and again them killing children, them putting children into handcuffs. A 9-year-old girl in handcuffs, 6 giant cops. They can't handle a 9-year-old girl. They got to put her in handcuffs and then pepper spray her 2 inches from her face. That doesn't sound like protecting anyone's freedom to me. If your freedom is threatened by a 9-year-old girl, she better have come out of you, because, it makes no sense how your freedom, and you chose to give up that freedom by having a baby, okay? That's one of these things where this is your decision, so don't tell me about how, this 9-year-old girl was messing with these people. Well, that's what they asked for. And I think that she's probably desperately reaching out for help. They talk about how people, making stupid moves, doing stupid things is like a cry for help, right? So this girl's acting out in whatever way. It's not because she has a happy household. It's because she needs someone's help. And the cops show up and they put her in handcuffs and then pepper spray her 2 inches from her face. Because this is the kind of police we have in this country. Exactly the kind of police we have in this country. So, fuck the police. Fuck the goddamn police state. Fuck the U.S. government. Let me tell you something. I want a revolution in this country. I want the people of this country to take down this warmongering piece of shit government and its fucking warmongering piece of shit mainstream media. I want them to go to prison. I want that to be the freedom that exists within the world, within the people of the United States, to say, yeah, fuck this government. This government doesn't represent me in any way. And it doesn't represent my neighbor, and it doesn't represent my neighbor's neighbor, or the people living across town, or the people living on the other fucking side of the country. This piece of garbage government has got to go. That's what freedom is, okay? That's what the founding fathers want us to have the ability to do. To say, well, you're compromising our freedom, so you're out of here. But we can't do that because of buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets of money that people like Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell get endlessly so that they can stay in office and fuck us all. Because that's what Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi is doing. Okay? That's what they're doing. They're fucking everyone in this country. Because they don't give a fuck. Because their laws don't apply to them or theirs. Okay? All one of Nancy Pelosi's grandchildren has to do is say, hold up a fucking card that says Nancy Pelosi granddaughter or whatever. And the cops will escort her home, as opposed to, oh, you're going to jail for DUI. Okay? That's, again, the way this country works. Freedom for the 1%. Everybody else can eat cake. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be freedom for everyone. And the reason that it's supposed to be freedom for everyone is because this is who you're supposed to be. This is what the founding fathers acknowledged, is that you were given. And I know people in Christianity, they don't like this idea. People in Catholicism, people in Muslim, religion, Islam, people in all these religions, they don't want to hear that God gave you freedom. That, we recognize these rights. We recognize these rights to be self-evident, right? They are imbued into you because you are the top of the food chain. You can make up your mind whether or not you want to grow flowers, whether or not you would like to burn flowers, whether or not you want to eat flowers, wear flowers, build your house out of flowers. This government says no, you're not. Which means, again, this government is against God. So all of you people who love God so much, and you need to understand why these founding fathers said you have the right to live your life the way you choose. Okay? Because they wanted you to be able to overthrow an oppressive, intrusive government that didn't respect the fact that you are the top of the food chain and that you know how you want to live your life best for you. They don't think that that's an option. They think they should tell you how to live your life. They do their best to put you into education camps in order to build you into a perfect little clog to fit into our society. But their education camps have become shit because, I don't know, too many people were graduating and wanting to move into upper echelons. I don't know what the fuck, but our education, I think it's the government involvement in the education system. The government saying, oh no, you have to teach this, and this isn't teaching freedom, and this isn't teaching empathy, and this isn't teaching, what it means to be a human. This is teaching how to become a clog and know your place in the world. And the only way to know your place in the world is to be free to look around and understand what the world is. Because you don't know what the world is by going to school. Going to school will never teach you what the world is. You don't know what the world is by reading a book. You don't know what the world is by watching a video. And you may think that you do, because I just saw this beautiful video on Costa Rica, and I know everything about Costa Rica now. I know what the world is. I know how the people are. I know what the food is. No. You saw this little tiny piece of what it is. Okay? The world is much bigger than that. Costa Rica is much bigger than that. Human beings are much bigger than that. And the only way, as I've said many times, the only way the human species will evolve into its next step, the only way that the next evolution happens is with freedom. Because if we're not free, then we can't go off in any direction we need to go off in to make anything happen that we need to make happen in order to push this race into its next evolution. Is anybody even thinking about that? Nobody talks about it. I want to know what people are talking about human species next evolution. I know no politicians are talking about it. I know the politicians pretty well, and they don't talk about humans evolving. I can guarantee you that. If there is someone talking about it, I'd like to know who. Maybe I could join that discussion. And trust me, there is not a lot of discussions I want to join. But I understand. I understand the process of, what it's going to take in order for us to see the world for what it really is. And in order for us to understand who we are as individuals and who we are as a species. We can't get that by someone telling us who you are. Someone telling you who you are, it doesn't push you towards evolution. What it does is it kind of locks you in this box. It's the same thing with claiming that you're a liberal or a conservative. It locks you into this box where, we don't step out of the box because we're part of this group, and that group doesn't like us to step out of the box. Whatever group doesn't like it for you to step out of the box is a worthless group that you should never ever belong to. Because the last thing a free individual like yourself should be is put into a box. Don't you think? I'm so fucking ready for a goddamn bong hit! Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh, did I mention it's Dabs for Donations Friday? And we have a lovely Subway gift card to give away. If anybody... on Fridays, we do Dabs for Donations. You give a contribution to Mox News. Mox News does a dab, a big old bong hit, in your honor. And it's one of my funnest things to do. One of my favorite things to do. It is. So if you'd like to give a donation, it's easy to do. There's clickable links in the text body of the video. Or I'm putting clickable links in the chat right now for you to be able to make a donation if that's what you would like. And that would be very lovely of you, because Mox News survives solely on contributions from good people like you. So it means a lot to me when you give something back, because I actually I live on a shoestring, which is not your issue, but I'm just trying to let you know how much a difference it makes to me. How much I appreciate you giving something back. It's not like I'm have plenty of money and so when I get a little something back, it's like, yay, thank goodness. Okay, so where were we? Freedom, that's right. I need to take a bong hit, that's right. Let's see, I have a bunch of videos. Should I play a video while we take a bong hit? Let's see. I have a Free Britney Spears video. That's an important video when we're talking about freedom and liberty. Britney Spears is an excellent example. Don't you think? Lower vaccination rate in the city just south of Seattle. The county south of King County, which is Seattle County. The county south is Pierce County, and their vaccination rate is 49%. And this is a very interesting video. I'll play that for you in a minute. We might play it right now. Well, let's start the video off with Israel bombs Gaza, because that's what freedom's all about. Or wait a minute. I'm gonna do the crash landing. There was a cargo plane, a 737 Boeing cargo plane, that did a water landing off the coast of Maui. I think it was taking off from Hawaii. I think it was Maui, and it first one engine went out, and then the second engine went out. Boeing 737. Scary. Boeing seems to be having a little too many issues at the moment, in my limited opinion on aerial safety. Alright, so here's that video. I'm going to heat up the bong. If you all would like to join me in a bong hit, I'll be ready in this video is like 90 seconds long, so I'll be ready momentarily. So excuse me while I whip this out.
Next to the emergency on board a cargo plane moments after takeoff from the airport in Honolulu, Hawaii. The pilots forced to crash land in the water following engine trouble. Both were injured, and tonight one of them fighting for his life. ABC's chief national correspondent Matt Gutman on the investigation.
Tonight, those Coast Guard boats and helicopters plucking those 2 pilots from the water moments after their 737 cargo jet crash landed into the ocean off the coast of Oahu in the middle of the night and sank. The plane taking off from Honolulu at 1:33 a.m. en route to Maui. Just 3 minutes into the flight, the first engine goes.
We've lost number 1 engine, and we're coming straight to the airport.
5 minutes later, a dangerous situation becomes potentially deadly.
We're going to lose the other engine just running very hot.
They alert the tower they're going down.
It doesn't look good out here. You might want to let the fuel jet know as well.
The plane crashes in the open ocean.
It is extremely rare for both engines to fail on an airliner. The NTSB is going to look for something catastrophic, something mechanical that would have affected both engines at the same time.
Tonight, one pilot in critical condition, the other in serious condition. With the NTSB has a team of 10 investigators en route to the site right now to try to figure out why this plane crashed. That is, we're learning more about this incredible middle of the night rescue. Responders following an oil slick to that plane, and as it was sinking, they saw one of the pilots hanging on to the tail, another floating on a bunch of cargo.
Matt, thank you.
Hey, Rocky. I haven't seen you since you called last week. What's up, Jay? Alright, so I have a puff ready to go. This puff is for Jackie Cat because last Friday, Jackie Cat, who donates every Friday, pretty much, and every other day because she donates her time to come and do moderation of the Mox News. So if you see her, I don't know if she's here yet, but let her know Moxie did a dab for her. But Jackie Cat last week, an hour after the show, donated, and so I still owe her one from last Friday. So here you go. This one's for Jackie Cat. If you want me to do a dab for you, there's links right there in the chat. You ready? Here we go. I feel much better now. I have the fan blowing in here, so it kind of blows the dab around. It's difficult to see. But trust me, that was a good one. I'm feeling much better now. Okay, so I have a bunch more videos for you. I will play them if we don't have any callers. Again, freedom, baby. If you're not interested in freedom, this is probably the wrong channel for you. If you are interested in freedom, then we need to have a discussion about overthrowing this over-intrusive, oppressive, comply-or police state government. It has to go. It has to go. We need not just to say, oh, everything has to change. We need all new people. We need all new people. We need to get the vote out and change everything. It's not going to work that way. If we don't take down this government and take it down fucking hard, meaning everybody goes to prison, meaning all the mainstream media that has bullshitted us into war after war after war so that them and their ilk can profiteer off the deaths of children, every single one of those fucking cunts needs to go to fucking prison for the rest of their fucking lives. And we need to seize all their fucking assets so that their children and the rest of their family can live destitute and in shame, in disgrace. Because that's what they deserve, 100%. And this is what we need to show the world. That the people of these wonderful United States, we the people, this is not who we are. These are evil fucking Satanist demons. And I don't want to put a bad spin on Satan or demons. These people are scumbag war profiteers. Okay, war profiteers are worse than pedophiles. Okay? So we got this fucking straight. So we all get on the same damn page. Okay? War profiteers, all pedophiles do is whatever it is they do. Okay? War profiteers go and murder children so that they can make a shiny penny. They're the worst scumbags on the planet. Worse than war profiteers. Well, I mean, war profiteers are worse than pedophiles. Okay? We should start a website or something. I don't know. We gotta get this government out of here. And we have to do it in this really firm way, where every single one of them goes to prison for the rest of their lives. Again, I love this thing that happened on January 6th. That's what freedom looks like. That's what independence looks like. That's what the people stepping up in the people's house to demand that their representative government hear their voices. And you know what their representative government did? It fucking said that they're domestic terrorists. This representative government, instead of hearing the people's voices, when obviously they're at their most outraged, they labeled those people domestic terrorists. People who didn't topple statues, people who didn't rip down 100-year-old paintings, irreplaceable, didn't just smash up the place, graffiti everything, set it on fire. They labeled those people who walked into that building and occupied it in protest, demanding that their representative government hear their voices. Those people were labeled domestic terrorists. That's the kind of piece of shit government that we have. In the people's house, they went to protest. Now they're domestic terrorists. You cannot speak out against this government. You cannot stand up against this government. Does that sound like what it says in the Constitution? Does that sound like what the founding fathers were trying to build here in this nation? Or does it sound like an over-intrusive, over-oppressive, comply-or-die police state? Either you follow the way we say, you do as we say. If you step out of line, you are now a domestic terrorist. Okay? That's the way your government views you. And if you don't see this, if you don't care, okay, you don't care if we live in the land of the free or the land of tyranny. You know, whatever. I mean, is that where we're at? Is everybody's just like, whatever? Outside is kind of, Craig is worried about me disturbing the neighbors. They have little kids, and they're very quiet. I know all the neighbors, but the neighbors who live right behind us are standoffish, and they've lived there for a few years. So I know all the neighbors. The neighbors move in, you know, and the thing is when they move in, they're like right here in our backyard. The balcony literally hangs over our backyard. So when they're out on their balcony, I'm like, hey, and they just kind of go back in. I'm like that consistently for years, you know, and then they put up like a screen around their balcony. Like I'm the one. They are right over our house, you know, can see right in, and I'm the one who's being intrusive. But I like I said, I know all my neighbors. I know the neighbors. I know all the neighbors. I mean, the one that moved in across the street that just had a baby that I took a plant to, I met them the first day they moved in. The neighbors that were there behind us before these people, I met them the first day they moved in. That's the kind of neighbor I am. What?
Hello, Michael. How are you doing tonight? This is Chris from Olympia.
I'm on fire!
Yes, you are, sir. Oh my gosh. That is amazing. Michael, I've got an article to read to you. Right now, it's an extremely difficult topic. Some people...
Are you sure you can read an article?
if there's children in the room,
I challenge you to read an article.
well, I challenge you to fucking drink a beer like a goddamn man, you son of a bitch. But I'm trying to read
I
the
am
fucking
not.
article.
I'm not interested in the #1 date rape drug in the world. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, Jesus, Lord. Okay, I swear to God, the date break drug just slips into the alcoholic beverage. It could be a water bottle filled with water that they do this, okay? So don't be fucking trying to sit over here and fucking act like I'm a supporter of raping drunk-ass bitches on fucking pills that you fucking slip in their fucking beverage.
You don't have to slip anything.
Okay.
You don't have to slip anything in
You
their
have to
beverage.
slip some shit
When
in
they're
there.
drinking alcohol, you don't have to slip anything in their beverage. All you have to do is make sure they have another drink. That's all you have to do.
For some reason, dude, when you drink alcoholic beverages, your shit just slips into weird shit. It's a major problem here in America and around the entire world. But the rest of the world doesn't matter. The fuck that, only America matters. Okay, where's the problem?
Only
The rest of
America
the world
matters,
are
okay?
fucking-
What matters to you
fucking-
besides
the
America?
rest of the world
What matters to
is
you
fucking
besides
safe.
America?
The fucking rest of the goddamn world.
Why
the
is
fucking
that?
saints, I tell you
Why
what.
is that?
Well, let me pull up my article here, and it says, due to America being the most racist, whitest, stupidest, most unintelligent country in the entire world, the face of the earth, in the universe, that it has actually caused the entire problems of the entire earth with capitalism and people that want to make money and that are smart enough to make money. I am in fact not one of those people, but and I'm angry. I'm really angry about this.
Mm-hmm.
And so this article.
What is it that you're angry about?
I'm angry that I'm poor, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm angry. This is Christopher Olympia, just a fucking communist. I'm an outspoken communist, and I love communism. And you know, that's just a joke. I'm probably not a communist. I'm just a really sincere human that's extremely angry about capitalistic principles. Okay? And let me give you an example. Let me pull up another fucking goddamn article here. Okay, so over here at Taco Bell, they try to fucking sell these tacos for $1.69 fucking taco. That's fucking ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Who the fuck sells a fucking taco for $1.69 plus tax? This is fucking crony capitalism. Right there. But I tell you what is not crony capitalism is these people that work at Taco Bell that are earning a paycheck and going to work. That is what this article is trying to say. The people that actually get out there and create a life for themselves, and they start out at Taco Bell, and then 49 years fucking later, they end up working at fucking Taco Bell again. I tell you what, America, this is fucking amazing. Okay? And the rest of the world is even better than here, folks. I just want to let you know that. And if we could take a step back and look at the rest of the world and how they conduct themselves.
What place in particular? What place in particular?
I'm almost done.
What place in particular?
If we could just take a step back and look at the rest of the world and how they conduct themselves and how that their countries are and how that they respect their country for, you know, the slums and the whole shit that they fucking, you know, maybe Americans would fucking, you know, realize that this is all our fucking thoughts. Michael, I swear to God, I'm taking a pledge right now. Michael, this is Chris from Olympia. I'm going to be poor the rest of my fucking life. I'm going to continue bitching about everything in the entire fucking world, and I'm going to blame it all on fucking America. Period.
Says the guy living down in a van down by the river.
Oh, hold on. I do lawn care too. I do fucking legit lawn care services, and I'm not even fucking around. I tell you what, I'll get that shit.
I seriously doubt that you've mowed the lawn in the last 5 years.
Whatever you want, baby. And, but Michael, I swear to fucking God. Holy shit, there's some action going on out here.
The what now? Alright, I gotta go.
Well, have a great night. It was really nice talking to you. I love you, and I hope that your family is safe. And tell Craig that he needs to hit me up later, and because I want a little HJ, if you know what I'm saying, girl. And yeah, just everyone just have a great 4th of July weekend. Let freedom ring, okay? And read articles.
You gotta go.
Read articles to your grandparents.
You gotta go.
Okay?
You gotta go.
You gotta go. You're going.
He hung up. He hung up. That was Chris from Olympia. Because someone doesn't have a life. But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Ooh, pretty. Oh man, I gotta light this room better. What is happening here? It just not gonna get it. I gotta light this room better. Alright, where were we? We were at, oh yeah, it's a call-in show. If there's anybody that wants to call, talk about if you think this is the best country in the world to live in. I think it could be. I think, but everything has to change. Because if we continue the way we are, there's not going to be any trees, there's not going to be any fresh water, I keep liking to point out. You know, I was thinking about it, how many hundreds of trillions of dollars has our government spent building our military? How many hundreds of trillions of dollars? Do you ever wonder about that? Like I said, the day before September 11th, Donald Rumsfeld stepped up to the Pentagon podium and said that the Pentagon has misplaced $4 trillion. And then the day after that, something happened, I don't remember, and everybody forgot what he said about the Pentagon losing $4 trillion. Misplacing $4 trillion. Maybe it'll show up. You know, $4 trillion, that's the part that they can't find. Imagine all they spend, okay? So how many hundreds of trillions of dollars has this government spent building the U.S. military? And I talk all the time, I say, we need to have an infrastructure project. That's one of my big hard-ons, man, is we need a new we need a 21st century infrastructure. Maybe we should be shooting for a 22nd century infrastructure and doing everything we can, thinking about tomorrow and moving boldly into that tomorrow. Not so much for us, but for the people coming behind us. They'll be like, you know, oh, these people really built a wonderful place for us to be and do business and make all these things happen in the world that are important to everyone. I've talked about that, saying we need $100 trillion infrastructure project. And that's, you know, that's probably not going to finish it off. But thinking about the infrastructure built for the U.S. military and how many hundreds of trillions of dollars they must have spent with your money. And instead of building the most modern infrastructure in the world, competing, being able to compete with any other country, because we make things happen like that. Our infrastructure is as good as it gets. And that's what made America great in the first place, was that we had the most modern infrastructure in the world. And then it all went to shit. Now we just put band-aids on it. Act like, oh, we're doing a $1 trillion infrastructure project. And that's going to make millions of new jobs. No, it's not. $100 trillion infrastructure project that maybe started off with $1 trillion, where it's just kind of getting things in place, probably starting off with, you know, 2 or 3 trillion to start to get things into place, to start to hire all those millions of good paying job employees, to start to move that direction. And that would be an amazing government that hired, you know, that made a that made it possible for millions and millions and millions of new good paying jobs. You know, can you imagine what that would do for the, you know, you're right, oh, what is this going to do to my taxes and to the economy? Well, here's what it's going to do. Again, it's going to make millions and millions and millions of good paying jobs back and forth across our country. And what do you think that's going to do for our economy? Millions and millions and millions of good paying jobs. What do you think that's going to do for our economy? And I can tell you something else. Those millions of good paying jobs, they're going to make millions of other jobs. So the idea that a $1 trillion infrastructure project is somehow, you know, a big bold move, all it is a band-aid. It doesn't get us anywhere. It certainly doesn't move us into the 21st century boldly. I mean, the 21st century, where are we at? We're like a quarter of the way through it already. The 21st century, and we've done what? Make war. That's all the United States has done. In the 21st century, the only thing the United States has accomplished is making war. That's our government. And that's our country. And again, those trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars could have started us on the direction to build a really great country, to actually make positive things happen, and not only in our country but around the world, because we don't do that right now. The positive things that the government will say that they make happen is all about moving CIA assets around the world, you know, to do evil. That's all this government does. It'll act like, oh, we did this for people. No. All those trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that the United States has spent in the first quarter of the 21st century. The only thing that we've been making happen is war. So why don't you call and tell me why this is the greatest country in the world to live in? Because it's not that I would want to be somewhere else, because I want to kick this government's ass. I want the world to know I'm not them. I'm not that. And I bet there's a lot of other people who feel that way. I mean, wouldn't you want your government, if you could have your ideal government, wouldn't you want it to be doing something more than making war in the world? Doesn't that make sense? Can you people hear me? Can you see the telephone number on the screen? It's 805-669-6397. 805 Mox News. Oh, look, someone's calling. Hello, caller.
Hello, my name is Richard.
No, it's
You
not.
told me to call you
No, I
right
didn't.
now
Not you.
and tell you why.
I didn't tell
fucking
you.
America is the fucking goddamn greatest goddamn country in the world, son
Well,
of a bitch.
it may be goddamn.
I'll tell you what.
It may be goddamn. That's for sure.
I fucking tell you why right now, motherfucker. Because not only am I goddamn American, I fucking was born here, you son of a bitch, and I can't fucking help that. Okay, so I think that you should stop fucking complaining about it currently. So, how about that? It's 4th of July weekend. Why don't you throw your fucking head
that's
out of
right.
your fucking ass?
This is
and
how
fuck keep
this
the
is
positive
how we
attitude.
celebrate freedom, motherfucker. You got a problem with freedom, bitch?
Why don't you go buy some fireworks, bitch?
Because our fucking state is a tinderbox, man. That would be stupid.
Oh, bullshit. It's raining fucking 90 fucking percent of the fucking time over there. And I swear to God, you guys could get some snakes. You could get some snakes, okay? You get a good piece of wood, put the little snake on
That's
there.
the
light it on
worst.
fire,
That's the
fucking
worst
fun as
fireworks
shit.
of all time.
Sparklers.
That is the worst
Sparklers.
fireworks of all time.
You
Snakes.
need- you
Give me
need
a
a
fucking
fucking
break.
sparkler.
What are you, like 6 years old or something? Sparklers. Come on,
Now,
man.
I'm trying to help you.
Come on, man.
Since it's a tinderbox over there, I'm trying to help you out. Just trying to break you in. Get a fucking couple of sparklers, bend the end of it, and then you spin it around in a circle, and I swear to God, the shit is amazing, folks. The fucking, everybody loves it. Kids, the adults, your mom, my mom, fucking everybody's mom, aunt, uncle, fuck, grandma, grandpa, fucking everybody fucking loves a good fucking sparkler in the nighttime, and a big old black little snake thing that you light on fire. Okay? Everybody loves it.
No,
I
they
think you
don't.
try that.
No, they don't. They don't like that.
Everybody, they fucking
That's the most
smell
boring.
out
That's the
fucking
most
snakes and
boring
sparklers.
fireworks of all time. Nobody loves that.
Everybody loves snakes and sparklers. God damn it. And smoke bombs, you ever had a smoke bomb other than a goddamn
This is
fucking
what you think
bomb here?
celebrating freedom is all about. Is that right? Sparklers, snakes.
No, you asked me what the fuck, you know, about this goddamn country. Why I fucking love it. It's because I fucking was born here, son of a bitch.
I didn't ask you why you love it. I said, is the United
You
States
asked
the
me if
best
it's
country in the world to
it's
live
the
in?
fucking goddamn greatest goddamn country, because this is the country I was born. This is where my family is. This is where fucking everything
How
is.
does that make it great? That your family is here? How does that make the country
I
great?
don't know, because it's probably a miracle that I was even fucking able to walk the face of the fucking earth for, you know, not taking freedom for granted and bitching and complaining all the fucking time. I don't know.
That's what freedom is
You know,
about.
Glad I actually have the freedom to fucking speak here in the fucking goddamn country.
Okay, I gotta
You
go.
know?
I gotta go.
Oh, you're going?
Yeah,
Oh, you're
going.
gonna hang up?
I'm gonna hang
You're
up
going.
right now.
I know it.
Go.
Getting pretty fucking
Go.
rough out here. These goddamn journalists are fucking dicking around right now.
All right, enjoy your 4th of July.
You too, get a sparkler and shove it up your ass. Light it first.
No.
Put a fire right up in your ass and you fucking maybe appreciate where you fucking live. Here in this America, motherfucker.
You sound like you are kind of homosexual. I mean, that's a little gay to me. No offense, homos. But shoving things up my ass always sounds a little gay to me. Let's see. What was we talking about? Right, freedom and sparklers. Okay, mentioning sparklers and the flag. Right, one of my fondest memories of 4th of July, at least as an adult. I have really two. This one falls way second. But it is Stephen Colbert was hosting a show on 4th of July, his show, and I remember he had sparklers and he had one of these little handheld American flags, right? And he's like waving them and holding the sparklers, and then like, oh, I gotta get this. And he moved the American flag over to the hand that had the sparklers in it, and the American flag caught fire. And I was like, wow, that is really a celebration of freedom. I don't know that I could burn an American flag. I really don't think I could burn an American flag. I would love to burn an Israeli flag. I'd love to burn one of those little handheld Israeli flags. I've looked for them. They're hard to find. But I'd love to burn them. But I don't think I can burn an American flag because I haven't given up. The government is garbage and I want to overthrow the government. And to me, that's what makes America great, is that we actually have the right to overthrow this government. I'm pretty sure it says that clearly in the Constitution. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike, how are you tonight?
I'm fine.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Your question, is the United States the best country in the world to live in?
Uh-huh.
Is that your question that you posted, right? Well, just rephrase the question, all right? What is the United States the happiest country to live in? The answer is no. The happiest country in the world to live in is Finland. Denmark is second, Switzerland is third, Iceland, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and Luxembourg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the country where you have the most civil liberties the best country in the world to live in? Because according to rankings by the Civil Liberties Index, Finland has the most civil liberties in the world, followed by Luxembourg, Norway, Sweden, and the Netherlands. Is the best country in the world to live in the country where people make the most money? Because we value fucking money a lot. Well, the top country to make money in the world, the richest people in the world, live in Qatar. And then in Macau, Luxembourg, Singapore, Brunei, Ireland, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Switzerland, San Marino, Norway, and Hong Kong. Those are the first 12. The United States is 13th. What system in the world has the best education system judged by teachers around the world? The answer is Finland. Finland is ranked number 1 for K through 12 education system. The Finnish students have the highest scores in the world in math, science, and reading. But who fucking needs to read a book? Because you don't learn anything, right? And about life expectancy, is the country that you live in the country where you live the longest? Country with the highest life expectancy in the world is Hong Kong, with 82.38 years, followed by Japan, Macau, Switzerland, Singapore, Italy, Spain, Australia, Iceland, South Korea, Israel, Sweden, Martinique, France. Those countries you live longer. So if you think the best country in the world, and you're a miserable person and you just want to live, or you're a happy person and you just want to live, the best place in the world to live, according to what life expectancy, is Hong Kong, Japan, Macau, Switzerland, and Singapore, right? So this thing about what is the best, well, first of all, that's a superlative, right? Worst and best. That's kind of stupid. I mean, what could we have? You asked that question. What could we have that would make us better? Better, that's another fucked up way of looking at things. What could we do that would make life more enjoyable and meaningful for people in the United States? Now, that's a good question. And you're right. We could, first of all, just stop spending money on guns, right? Stop spending weapons on our weapons. 50 cents out of every dollar, we're spending on our military. If we spent that money and just spent it on education, health care, housing, things that people fucking need, right? Then people would be happier and they would be able to live longer, have better education, be able to fucking be happy. Now, this is the United States by any metric.
I don't know about happy. Happy is more complicated than just having, everything you need.
But yeah, those surveys on happiness. I mean, I didn't look at all of the questions they asked, right? I didn't take the survey, but I'm sure it measures things like emotional well-being, ability to have access to a doctor, things like that.
Yeah, those
Are you
things.
going to lose your job?
Yeah.
Do you have a place to live?
Yeah.
Generally is how people measure happiness, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think
I've
that.
met happy beggars, 1 out of 1,000 people, happy beggars. There's a few of them out there.
It's if your life isn't motivated around what you don't do and don't have, I think you can be happy, wherever you're at, whatever's going on, more or less.
Maybe as an individual, that might be the case. But with the constraints that are put on people in this culture, in this society, I would say that the evidence indicates that not very many people have adopted that way of life. And
Yeah.
if you drive, if you're in a car or you're walking down the street, right, and you see somebody begging, right, generally, and they're wearing tattered clothes, and they're talking and muttering to themselves as they hold like a torn piece of cardboard at the intersection of the freeway, and they're looking right into your fucking eyes. They don't seem very happy to me, Mike. In this society, in this culture that we live in.
I don't want to play down where those people may be coming from.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think not, looking happy is probably not going to score you the pity. They're kind of going for the pity thing when they're standing there trying to make money that way. And
Sure, and you've said that we need more mental health services before too, right?
yeah,
Right, and I've been to like homeless camps where there's begging happening, and people just live, but generally people are not happy, and one of the reasons
well,
why they're not
like
happy
you said, yeah,
is because they're being judged. They're being judged by everyone else who has things.
well, and part of
that
the reason,
judgment,
yeah.
yes.
Part of the reason that they're not happy and that they're in the camp because they have some kind of mental illness or depression or something that's not being addressed there to start with. So
That's true, but it certainly also is true that most people who drive in their cars and go to their suburban homes are somewhat indifferent and frown upon just having to see the homeless people in some of these, certainly in my community. So there's a lot of scorn that goes on. You're not allowed to walk into a restaurant or a deli, right? If you don't have money, or if you're not dressed appropriately. So or you have a lot of stuff. There's so many ways that these people are scorned that I just think it's culturally like the reason why they allow homelessness to exist in this country is to scare people into going to work every morning so that they don't feel like they're going to be in that position the following day. So you go to work and you get on your knees and you fucking listen to the man. And you do whatever the fucking man tells you to do. Because if you don't, well then you're going to have some psychological problems, I think.
what countries do you think are better places to live?
I have only lived in this country, Mike, like you. I have only lived in this country, like most Americans. Like most Americans, like you, I only speak one language. People in Finland speak 3 or 4 languages. People in Europe speak many languages, which means that they're exposed to many different cultures as kids right away. In our culture, we're isolated from the rest of the world. We speak one language, and we think we're better than other people. We phrase things that way. I think a lot of it comes from like the fucking comic book movies, right? It's like the indoctrination of like how we're great and we're good is just beat into us from the moment we're fucking born. And I don't know if that happens in other places, right? I'm sure other people are proud or have some sense of, they understand where they're from. But Americans, for the last 400 years, unless you're an indigenous person, like on an Indian reservation or something, for the most part, you don't have a history here as long as those people in other parts of the world do, because we're colonists. That fucks with our way of thinking.
Well, we were talking about mental health, and you're saying about how people look you in the eyes and then just drive on. I think that's again this programming and this mental health, and the programming itself is probably a form of PTSD where you're not even able to kind of make your own decisions anymore. Because you can't get over this thing that you've been programmed to do. So I see the whole country is suffering from PTSD, and that like you're saying, they're scared because they see the homeless people and they don't want to become that, so they're going to make sure to go work every day and keep their stuff.
Certainly the working class and the middle class, yes, absolutely. They don't have like trust that they can fall back on, and they don't have large inheritance. They don't have safety nets. And if you don't have a safety net like that, you're going to be living in fear because, nobody's going to save you if you lose your housing especially. So it's a way that the employer, and not just everyone around you, but your employer especially, has a lot of power over you, because the moment you lose your job, your housing goes up, right? I mean, your opportunity to live goes away. So that, that's huge amount of stress, I think. And I wonder if in some of these countries, where I mentioned, like the happiness factor, countries that claim to be the happiest, Finland, Denmark, Iceland, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Luxembourg, I wonder if they have very easy, readable housing available for people who fall through cracks, right? Like if you lose your job, maybe you have to downsize to a smaller house through subsidized housing, right? You don't get to live in the big house on the hill, but you're not going to be living like in the fucking park, right? You're not going to be living in front of an office building or in an alley,
Yeah.
or you're not going to be living in your car, and that's a way different mind fuck, and that's because I think those people still have a sense of community. They still care about their children, and they still have a sense of like we live in a community, and we only think about ourselves in our own situations, and we don't think about the community.
I think that part of the reason that they do that is that it costs almost the same amount, right? The homeless issue costs a lot of money, to be dealing with and not deal with. And if you just give the people places to live, it probably costs about the same amount of money as the never-ending need of having to address, we have this issue going on with these homeless people and that issue, and places catching fire and all kinds of shit happens with these homeless camps. So you just give them places to live, and you know what else? Then you don't have the homeless camps, which makes your community a nicer place to live. The community in which you live and your children play. How can that be a bad thing?
Also, crime goes down naturally because when people are desperate, right? When they are fucking desperate, that's when they usually fall to theft and burglary and robbery and all of that stuff. That's because of desperate situations. And if you don't have housing or shelter that throws you into a more precarious situation where you're way more likely to get caught up in crime. And there are many movies, film noir and detective films about people with good intentions, but when shit happens in their life because they don't have a safety net, that's when the criminal element steps in and says, "Oh, I have a proposition for you, my friend, and you'll be, your problems will go away." So giving persons houses or peaceful housing is one way to decrease crime. And of course, these same countries like Denmark and the Netherlands, they also have very few people in jail, right? They don't arrest people if they arrest them, they don't keep them in jail very long. Jail sentences are much shorter in Europe than they are in the United States. So that's another way you can measure how great a country is. Is this the best country? Well, we have 1 or 2 million people in prison, right? We have the highest prison incarceration rate in the world. Is that best? I don't know. These other countries hardly have anybody in prison.
Yeah, again, that's one of these things.
In Russia.
That's one of these things. The only reason that's happening is because it's a big business in this country. There should not be private prisons that make a profit off of warehousing people. It's disgusting.
And these laws are written in such a way that every one of us as an American breaks a law. I think Mike has mentioned this from California and has mentioned this before, that all of us break a law every single day.
I'm the one who brought it up repeatedly.
Yeah, you brought that. Okay. Well, then you understand the idea. The laws are made to such a degree that you really can't breathe and walk and chew gum in this country without breaking a law. Period.
Yeah.
And it's just really up to the state to kind of arbitrarily decide when they're going to enforce the law and who they're going to enforce the law against. And if you're poor or whatever, if you're a minority, Hispanic or black in this country, you're probably more likely to get shit from the police. than if you're chewing gum and breathing and you're, an affluent person, right?
Yeah.
You're probably going to have less shit from the police. So, so income disparities affects the way that people live, like the quality of their life. And in the United States, we have one of the highest gaps between rich and poor in the world, like one of the highest, for the working class, especially in they call them the developed 20 countries, the 20 most developed countries in the world. The disparity between rich and poor in the United States is extreme. And that doesn't lead to happiness because a few people are really happy. I'm sure those, millionaires and billionaires in the tech sector are happy people, but the vast majority of people are struggling. So who is it the best for? I mean, it's a relative question. There was one story besides whether America is the greatest place in the world that I wanted to mention to you, and this is from Washington State. And I found it at this Free Thought Project, and then I also found it in a Kitsap newspaper from Washington State. And the article from the Free Thought process is more condensed. And this is what it says. It says, Robin Horton, 73, is an American citizen who's outspoken about views on anti-militarism, feminism, and environmental stewardship. He's known around town for holding signs to advocate the positions. In 2019, several constitutionally illiterate cops kidnapped him on the 4th of July for holding signs, a constitutionally protected act in a public park. For the last 2 years, Horton has been attempting to hold the cops accountable for what they did to him on that day. And this month, and this is from June 15th, this month he was successful. On that day in 2019, Horton was holding signs he calls temporary free speech presentations when deputies arrived to force him to leave. Knowing he was within his rights to hold signs in the park, he refused to leave when police arrived. To be clear, the signs did not contain profanity or anything offensive. One 6-foot sign read, "Protect Democracy, Vote." The other side read, "Save Earth." Because he stood up for First Amendment rights, the deputies arrested him, threw him in a cage. His bail was set at $50,000 in spite of the fact he had no criminal record and the charges were for non-violent offenses. Unable to pay the bail, he was forced to spend the next night in jail before a judge released him with no bail and then permanently banned him from the park. Well, this month, Kitsap County said, and the town, Port of Kingston, paid Horton a total of $400,000, $250,000 from the county, $150,000 from the town, for a laundry list of constitutional rights violations over being twice jailed, held in excessive bail, and forever banished from a public park. As part of the lawsuit, the county sheriff's department will be forced to undergo free speech training and make policy changes to make sure they never infringe on a person's rights like this again. The county also agreed to changing bail policy after setting such a disproportionately high bail for Horton. Anyway, I wanted to share that because it is a story from Washington, but also it's a story of how fucking crazy is this world? You go to a public park, you stand in a public place, you hold a sign that says "Save the Earth" and "Protect Democracy, Vote," and you end up getting tackled by some cop, thrown in jail, and set with a $50,000 bail for just exercising your First Amendment rights.
Yeah, it sounds like he deserved a much bigger settlement to me. It sounds it's a great story, dude. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, it was on 4th of July too, so it is apropos. But I don't know, on these holidays, Mike, I just kind of try to think about other things. I really do. I mean, I understand what the Declaration of Independence and what the Revolutionary War was about, but I see it in a different lens, and I don't really think it made that much of a difference. There were these English colonies in Canada and in the United States were going to do what they did, basically. They did it under the auspices of this united federal government, and that's just where we live. It's just who we are. How you feel about that is a different question, and I think everybody has the right to ask that question. So on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, I tend to just kind of go into solitude and think about other things than about really what this country represents.
Yeah, well, I just enjoy the day. You know, you get a day where everybody,
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
you know, something's a holiday. I just try and enjoy it. I mean, that's what I do every day. But, you know,
Yeah.
generally
That's
other
the way
people
to
have
be.
the day off and you get to hang out with them. That's a nice thing. You know.
Yeah. It was amazing weather here though today. It was pretty nice. It was like 70s, and it was nice. So
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the summer weather, and I'm gonna just let you get back to your program. But I wanted to share some of those statistics about education, happiness factor, the amount of money that people make, those kinds of questions, which I would think would be the kind of questions that you would ask. How much money do you spend on war? When you start asking a question like, what is the best place, right?
I agree.
Right. Anyways, nice talking to you.
Okay, I hope you have a nice weekend. I'll talk to you soon.
You too, Mike. Bye-bye.
Bye. We were talking there. Chris was saying that Killer Mike was bringing up that people every day, without knowing, break the law. And it's not Killer Mike who brought that up. I brought it up numerous times. And I remember hearing from a legitimate source journalist. I'm pretty sure it was Abby Martin, but I'm not positive it was her, but I'm pretty sure it was her. And she was saying that the average American commits 8 felonies a day. 8 felonies a day without knowing it. And like 17 misdemeanors. And that's the police. This is the comply or die police state that we live in. And they don't even know that they're committing a felony. The average person in the United States. This is the comply or die police state. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. And the people who are sworn with a sacred vow to protect your freedom, those people are the ones that make it so that you're breaking stupid fucking laws that you don't even know about. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mark. Manny, how's it going?
All right, Manny, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm just working close to the month.
Yeah.
So, well, basically, like a new month starts, so I have to start closing the previous month. It's an accounting thing. Anyway, I'm working, but I'm doing great. This is why I'm watching Mark's News Live.
Right on.
So I saw your title. I just turned into the shadow, and I saw your title. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you your viewers this question. Have you seen the movie The Hunger Games or read the book?
I have not seen those movies, but I know that you have, Manny. You've brought those movies up multiple times, in case you don't know.
Because it's a pop culture reference, though, and I need to reference it because I want to make a point about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
But the whole point what I'm trying to say is, obviously, in the Hunger Games, there was a big civil war, and apparently the capital city won. So they divide the country into like 13 districts plus the capital city. All the capital cities, one does the lumber, the other one does the coal, the other one does the food, etc. So every district has their own. They do their own thing to support the capital city. And in order to punish the districts, they do what is called the Hunger Games. A representative from every district go into a competition and they literally start killing each other. And the game is rigged because always the capital city ends up winning. Well, why am I saying all of this? I feel like the United States itself is the capital city. All the goodies, we have the lowest interest rates on earth, quite nearly. I mean, in Mexico, the interest rates for a credit card is almost one of the cheapest ones, by the way. If you want to get a credit card in Mexico, one of the cheapest interest rates that you can get over there, and this is real, it's almost 50%.
I don't know. I don't know how it is, Manny. So, I have to, I mean, I don't know why anyone would get a credit card if that's the way that things are.
Well, I mean, in the United States, you get a credit card because sometimes you got to borrow money or because you want to play the credit score system. Because unfortunately, A lot of companies and a lot of people use the credit
Right.
score
I
system
was talking about
a measurement of your.
if the credit cards in this country charge 50% interest, that no one would get credit cards, Manny. So I don't know why people in Mexico would get a credit card if it cost that much money, because you'd never be able to pay it off.
I know, but it's just the way it is. But again, it's just the way it is in Mexico, and the interest rates are way too high and ridiculously stupid. I was actually looking at the credit card, for example, from American Express. That's around 48-49%. The actual platinum credit card, not the charge card, the credit card itself. Plus, you have to pay the annual fee, which is like almost a little bit higher than you pay over here in the U.S. By the way, the point what I'm trying to say is like the war is feeding us. China is sending the cheap stuff to us. We buy it for cheap. We buy everything by credit, which is ridiculously low. I mean, the lowest credit card interest rate that I've seen is like 6.9% in one of those like USAA credit cards, like for the veterans. But yeah, and a lot of people want to come here because we have all the goodies. We get paid more. Everything's relatively speaking cheap compared to what I have in the other countries. I mean, if I was in Mexico right now, I would not afford to buy an iPhone 12. Let's face it, I'll probably buy one of those like Chinese knockoff Android phones. And even that will be stretching my wallet. But over here, I can pay for an iPhone 12 out of pocket. So that's what I'm trying to say though. Is it the greatest country in the world? Well, for me it is now because you have
credit. Because you have credit and you can buy a car, it's the greatest country in the world.
Yeah. It's cheap.
Well, I'm glad we figured out what matters.
Well, I know it sounds very materialistic, but I mean, you live in a third world country, and certainly you have access to a very extremely cheap credit.
Yeah, I don't
get it.
I haven't had a credit card since I was 16 or 17, dude.
No, I'm talking about credit in general. Like, the interest rate from the Federal Reserve is 0.25%. So for every $100 that you borrow, the bank pays them back at the Federal Reserve 25 cents annually. Annually. So it's like printing money. So why not? I want to get some cheap credit. I'm also buying a shit ton of stuff that I wanted to do all my life. I don't buy a PlayStation 5 because I'm old enough to not play video games anymore. But I can buy myself, I don't know, like an iPhone 12. I actually pay out of cash for my iPhone 12. It's like almost around $800. I'm thinking of buying a new MacBook because I have like a 4-year-old MacBook, and I'm trying to get the new one, the one with the M1 chip. Again, on credit as well. I'm trying to get a new car though, but because I know accounting, I don't recommend you people buying a brand new car. Probably buy like a certified used car. But still, like, I feel like America is the greatest country in the world because first of all, we have the First and Second Amendment. A lot of countries, even in Canada, you say anything that offends someone, and that will be considered hate speech. Even if the criticism is a fair criticism, like criticizing the alphabet people. If you criticize the alphabet people in Canada, they might classify you as a hate speaker, even if you have great points, because I don't agree with the lifestyle. But over here in America, nothing's going to happen though, because I have a First Amendment right to say it. Yes, you have the right to associate and dissociate with that person because it says awful things. If you don't want to associate with that person, that's your right, like we have in America though. But over there, in other countries, you can go to jail for that. We have the choice.
Right. Well, that's not it's not a matter of what other countries do. It's a matter of, is this country a better place or that country a better place? Not like, oh, well, China does this and Russia does that. It's not about that. It's about, does Costa Rica look like a nice place to live? Because I think it looks like a pretty nice place to live, actually. And I think I could, you know how I talk about how I hate computers. I don't want to be around computers anymore. I bet you I could find a beach in Thailand where I could live very happily and never have to touch another computer. I bet, real close to never.
Well, that could be a good point there, because a lot of people do that, especially nowadays with the COVID situation. They're working from home or on their condos on a beach town. I know a couple of people from work. They usually do that. They were living in Baja California Sur, South Baja, in Cabos, and they were working from home near Cabos.
What does that have to do with?
South Baja?
Well, again, this is what I'm saying. Is, you know, I can find it. See, there's a pace of life here, and I talk about everyone having the PTSD here. I believe everybody in the United States is suffering from post-traumatic stress. So there's this quality of life thing where if you're running all the time to catch up and to try and make sure everything's done and as opposed to, you know, having a simpler life where you know, don't really care about what's on the TV or anything like that.
Everyone is different, though, and I would like to do some. One of the things that the whole pandemic taught us is that it's good to have something to do, even if it is very. I mean, even if it doesn't get you anything valuable, at least you keep yourself busy, though. And I mean, I was keeping myself busy working with this company that I'm working, doing accounting. At the same time I was getting paid, I wasn't relying on unemployment, though.
Yeah.
I was not relying on unemployment, and I was able to pile up on my, like, paying on my debt or advancing on my debt, because instead of making the monthly payments, I was paying in advance the debt that I have. So again, I guess that's another discussion of, like, having a purpose in life, having something to do in life, and a lot of people. They feel satisfied doing something.
No, look, Manny, I understand what you're saying. Okay, I get out of bed. You know, like this last week, it's been like a bazillion degrees here, right? So I get out of bed at 6:30 in the morning so I can take the dogs out before it gets hot. So I understand it's having, you know, it's good to have something to do. Okay, because if it wasn't for the dogs, I'd probably, you know, sleep in till 1 o'clock every afternoon. But because I know the dogs need me, I get up and make stuff happen for them. So I understand it's good to have something to do.
But the thing what I'm trying to say is, like, over here in America, at least from my perspective, I have it better than I have it in Mexico. I know in Mexico I was living a more, how can I say this? I was in like a more middle upper class type of environment, though, so a little bit detached from the realities of most Mexicans. But over here in America, I mean, I'm just a regular Joe, but at the same time, even if you compare that to what I was living in Mexico, I feel more comfortable living here in the U.S., living in the state of Washington, in the Seattle area, because I feel like I have more freedoms and I don't have to worry about the crime. You don't have to worry about getting kidnapped, or you don't have to worry about someone is scamming you. You don't have to worry about, like, I don't know. You have less stress.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. That's what I feel over here. Like, I feel I have it better here, and also the cheap credit that I was talking about. Though, because without that cheap credit, I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing right now.
Right on. Well, I'm glad that you are, you know, enjoying living in the country, man. I get that you talk that way all the time. What I think, you know, I was saying that Stephen Colbert burned an American flag on the 4th of July a couple of years back by waving sparklers and the American flag at the same time, and I was saying that I don't think I could really do that, and the reason that I don't think I could burn an American flag is because I haven't given up on the ideals that it's supposed to represent, which is that we can stand up against this government and we can throw it out. I mean, we can. That's what the War of Independence, the Revolution, was all about. Is about throwing off an over-intrusive, comply or die police state. That's what the British government was back in the day, and now now that's what our government is. And the thing is that's what the founding fathers did. The greatest men in our country, that's what they did. They overthrew this government, this oppressive, over-intrusive government. They threw it back into the ocean. And that's what we need to do now. just like our forefathers did. This is the same bullshit government that they overthrew.
And I agree that the government has become very intrusive, and it has shown their true colors during the COVID crisis, though, which I totally dislike. If people want to go out without masks, that's their problem, though. But again, that's just I'm kind of like libertarian, very libertarian when it comes to animals.
You have plans for 4th of July?
Work.
Oh, all right. Man has got to have priorities. Damn it.
Well, I mean, I want to be late later on tomorrow. So.
No, you do what you want, Manny. I just most of the Mexican people I've hung out with really enjoy having an afternoon off and a barbecue. So I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear you looking forward to that a little more often. What's that?
Actually, I should. I should definitely do that. But I mean, I'm a little bit behind over here at work, so I have to, finish this before I start going out.
Yeah.
What is it called? There's a religion that says work hard and then enjoy later. What's it called?
Yeah. Well, some people later never comes. Some people later never comes, Manny.
No, and to a certain degree, I agree. The Protestants who believe that work hard and the reward will come later.
Yeah.
Or the Adventists.
Yeah.
I forgot. All right, man. Gotta go.
Okay, man. It's good to hear from you. I hope you have a nice weekend.
Bye.
See ya. Craig, you got another caller? Craig, you have another caller. All right, I'm gonna play a video, and I'll be back momentarily. This video is about the lower vaccination rate in the county that's just south of the Seattle County, which is King County. The county south of us is Pierce County, and their vaccination rate is way lower. And I thought this was an interesting piece. There's this one lady in this particular news clip who's talking about how that you're taking the incentive away. You're taking an incentive by just opening everything back up. You're taking the incentive away from people for getting their vaccination, and just saying, that you just trust them either way with no evidence, no proof of evidence. And it's like, I want this totally, second class citizenship where, those people who aren't vaccinated, they don't get the same freedom as the rest of us, right? This is, again, people who take freedom for granted, okay? They don't believe in freedom at all. They say, oh, I want us to be able to do all the things that we do. Well, then do the things that you do, okay? If you've had your damn vaccination, you're protected from everybody else. What's the problem? Why do you hate freedom so much? Why do you hate people being able to make their own decisions? These are the kind of people that have brought us the oppressive, over-intrusive, comply or die police state that we must now overthrow. Throw the fuck out of our fucking land. The land of the free. We the people. Alright, I'm going to play this clip for you because I thought it was interesting. Lower vaccination rate coming right up, and the people being kind of upset about it. I'll be right back.
The rate is about the same in all of Pierce County. And KIRO 7's Kevin Coe joins us live from Ruston Point tonight. Kevin, only about 50% of Pierce County residents have had their first dose.
Yes, and that's almost 30% higher than King County, or less than King County, where the vaccination rate is currently sitting at 79.5. And then it's 65% in Snohomish County, lower than King County, right? But that's still about 15% higher than here in Pierce County. But as you can see, people are out and about. It is fully open here, and it's basically a coin flip on who is vaccinated and who isn't. Heads or tails?
No matter your age.
Tails.
It's a question
You versus the world, okay?
we've all heard before.
Heads or tails? Heads or tails?
Tails. And the answer could go either way.
Heads.
It's the same probability in Pierce County for a much more complicated question.
Why do you think our figure is so much lower than other counties around us?
I just think people are scared to get it. They think of all the side effects and stuff that might happen. so they're just scared.
Pierce County's vaccination rate is sitting just over 50% for everyone eligible, 20% lower than the state's threshold for reopening. But like the rest of the state, Pierce County is fully open.
I think they've taken the incentive away because you can go out without a mask, without providing documentation that you're vaccinated. It's on the honor system, and there are too many people that don't have honor.
Pierce County residents we talked to say the 50-50 split is a reflection of the county and what people may be comfortable with.
Shows we're split, yeah. And I think some people are nervous and aren't sure about it, and then other people just don't really care. They want to get back to normal.
I just think people don't care regardless right now, so they're just doing whatever they feel like doing.
The Tacoma Pierce County has done its absolute best trying to get people vaccinated, holding mass vaccination clinics, holding static site clinics, and people just aren't showing up.
We also met people who don't plan to ever show up to be vaccinated because that's their choice.
We like to use natural remedies, so that's our, boost your immune system, vitamin D, vitamin C, elderberry.
Others say 50-50 is too risky, and they're hoping more people choose to be vaccinated.
We're not safe until we at least hit that 70% marker.
Well, I'm a 30-year veteran, so I've been shot many times. So this is a piece of cake.
Now, we reached out to Tacoma Pierce County Health Department to ask them to explain this. Why are vaccinations so much lower here in Pierce County compared to others in Washington? They told us no one was available today to explain. Live in Pierce County, Kevin Coe, KIRO 7 News.
Interesting. All right. Thanks, Kevin. Meantime, the CDC says about 1,000 counties in the United States have vaccination coverage of less than 30%. The counties in question are mostly located in the Southeast and Midwest. Health officials say those areas are most vulnerable to COVID-19 infection. The agency has seen increased rates of disease in these counties due to further spread of the Delta variant. Dr. Anthony Fauci cited a study that the vaccines have about 80% effectiveness against that more contagious variant. He says another study found that 2 doses of the Pfizer vaccine generated more protection.
Alrighty. Let's see. So I thought that was a pretty interesting story. And I really, that one person's response where this takes the incentive away, like they really, she really want, and they have no proof that they've been vaccinated. And some people really want to make this police state even stronger, and this is, and you see that on the news again and again, right? They're looking for people that are going to slant this the way they wanted it slanted. They might interview 20 people who say, yeah, stupid vaccine, I'm not taking that shit. They might interview 20 people like that, and then they find this person who says, how can they be like this, just wandering around? Those people need to be fucking sent to re-education camps. That's what I heard her saying. So that's the programming they want, right? They want that going out of the airwaves, as opposed to, this is what we saw when we went out and we asked people about this, about why, instead of, this is what people are saying, they said they picked this slant that they want, which is disgusting. It's not real news. It shouldn't be considered real news. It should be considered a threat to all of us. It should be considered, this slanted kind of, this is partially what's causing the PTSD. I say everyone's suffering from this PTSD. This is partially what's causing it. Is it this never-ending, this is the way you're supposed to think. This is the way you're supposed to think. This is the way. That's what I hear in the news over and over again. And the way you're supposed to think is the way you think, not the way someone programs you to think. The way someone programs you to think is why we're suffering from post-traumatic stress, because you don't get the opportunity to think on your own, and because there's all these other thoughts that are like, oh no, this is the way things are supposed to be. What?
Hey, Mike. I'm sorry to interrupt your show.
Hey, Dave. No, thanks for calling.
I'm calling about your question. Is the United States the best country in the world to live?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's a really big question. I think it on one hand you could examine it from the place of the individual, of what would you like to have? In other words, if you wanted to have really good food, maybe the United States is not the best place to live.
Well, that's one of the things that I really enjoy about the United States, is that there's all kinds of food they have the Thai food. We have everything. We have Chinese. We have, all kinds of international things. Whatever it is that you'd like to enjoy tonight, there's a restaurant or, in your supermarket, you can go and get those things, more or less. So.
Yeah, except for the fact that we do have a lot of GMO food, and a lot of chemical farming going on.
Yeah.
I don't think our food stacks up with the best food. I'm just saying, like, if I wanted to have the best food, I would move to Sardinia off the Italian coast, where it's already been scientifically proven that the people that live there live the longest because of the food they eat. And they go to the market every day, and there's always fresh vegetables, and they grow them from heirloom seeds.
Right, but I mean,
there's
look,
no chemical farming.
I hear what you're saying about the food, but I don't know about maybe the majority of people live the longest because of and it may not necessarily be because of the food so much as that they have a different pace of life and all these other things.
That's true.
But
that's true. It's not.
What I'm saying is that we see these guys who live to be 110 years old, and the news interviewer is like, I guess you must have lived a pretty clean life, and the guy says, no, I ate bacon and smoked cigarettes every single day.
Yeah, I remember that. There's actually been more than one oldest person on the earth that has said, I smoked a pack of cigarettes a day.
Yeah.
And that just blows the mind of every scientist in the world. And people just look at that and go, oh, these are fake stories of people that live the longest. But it's been shown that tobacco, it's not, the thing is about tobacco and these longest people that live the longest, it's not, that's another whole big scientific exploration, but the thing is, there's not just one type of person, or there's not just like all people can just smoke tobacco and live longer. That is not the case. Nothing is the fix-all for living the longest. However, for certain people, tobacco might be the way to go. It prevents cancer.
Honestly, that wasn't my point. That tobacco may be a healthy product. My point is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're eating the most healthy food in the world or not. What matters, there's something bigger than what you're ingesting. There's something bigger to that. Like I said, the quality of life, like not being stressed out all the time, not not running, being so overly busy that you never get to enjoy life.
Yeah. And again, I was only bringing it up as an example of like, is the U.S. the best place to live in the world? And it depends on what you want. So if you want really good food, we do have abundance, but we also don't have the world's best food. Now, if you wanted to ask about is America the best place to live, if I just want to be the freest person I ever want to be, I don't know. It depends. Again, it depends on your situation. It depends on what is it that you view as freedom and how would you like to express it. Because if you want to express it by being an artist, or if you want to express it by being a vocal advocate, or if you want to express it by being a freedom is, in my terms, is the ability to move without being checked by authority. And that is as simple as it gets. So in my state where I live, New York, I have to notify the authorities within 30 days if I move to another house. I have to notify the Department of Motor Vehicles. I have to notify the state. I have to notify everybody. They really, really want to know where I'm living. That's a really big thing of theirs. I've been in countries, in Guatemala, for example, where people live, they don't actually even recognize the government. They don't pay any taxes, and they say, no. We just live here. We've been living here before you got here, and you don't count as any authority in our book. And no, we're not giving you money. And no, you know, and that. So I've been in those places, and I thought, well, that's very freeing, just to be able to live somewhere without saying, well, there's this authority, and they need taxes, and you have to pay that on your property of where you live and where you built your house. That's a foreign concept in Afghanistan, even as much as it is in Guatemala, or even in China or other places where people live. And there's no way for the authorities to go in there and say, hey, you have to start paying taxes. And the people are like, no, we don't. We already took care of everything we got here. We didn't need you, and we don't want you. So,
well, I think
go fuck yourself.
I think the people respond as, "Who are you? who are you?"
Yeah, they're like, "Who are you?" Yeah, like, "Who are you?" Exactly. They know who they are.
Well, you don't belong. You don't belong in this place, and if you don't go now, you might not make it out of here.
That's right. That's right. That's what Afghanistan is. I actually talked to a guy who was a veteran from Afghanistan, and a U.S. veteran. He said, yeah, our job was to protect the guys that went around telling these people that they have to start paying taxes. And I said, wow, that's a really interesting job. And I tried to ask as much as I could. And his thing was like, we were protecting contractors. That's in quotation marks, because you never know. If it's a contractor, right? You don't know where they're from or what they're doing or anything, but they're protecting them. We're going from town to town, and we're just spreading the word that, hey, from now on.
Contractors are not part of the U.S. military. If they're saying that person is a veteran.
No, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's
the contractors are not part of the U.S. military. So, but the U.S. military was protecting the contractors, and of course they're protecting the opium field. But they were protecting contractors that were going out into the communities, the rural places of Afghanistan, the least accepting places in this part of the world where people had never paid taxes. They just live there, and they do their thing, and they're happy, and they have children, and they have, maybe there's this other thing going on, extremism, religion, and this and that, but they're able to live through it, the same as we're doing here, and they get through it. And they never paid taxes. They don't pay taxes to a government. And they don't accept authority from outside their own village. It's like simple, very basic freedom. So that, that sticks out to me. And so is the United States a good place to live if you want absolute freedom over the place where you live? No, I would say no, because there's no ownership here. If you pay taxes on the land that you live on, and the maximum limit is 3 years in arrears, and you're kicked off of that land, that's not a very stable place to be. you might have a couple of bad years, and you need to be able to keep your land. You know, you need to be able to keep your well and your garden and your stuff that you have to keep yourself alive without having to move. So no, I would say on that count, no. But where I do advocate for the U.S. being the best place to live in the world is from the perspective that at one point the world decided we all need to gather in one place and just let the people decide whatever they want. And let that be the experiment, the democratic experiment of the world. And we are the democratic experiment of the world. We're riding on the back of capitalism, which kind of gave us prominence and it gave us power. And then we attached ourselves to the military aspect of it and being the policemen of the world. And that gave us more recognition and desire throughout the world. There's other countries that want us to be there if they ever get into this shit. But that's not what we're about. I think this is the best place to live is because no matter where you come from, no matter what your background is, what your skin color is, no matter what anything, you can move here and become as prominent as you want. There's avenues open to you to communicate, and you can say things that you can't really say in other places. You have to fight the authority here. Yes, we do have to continuously fight our authority, and yes, we are corrupted, but the sunlight shining on this place is that ultimately there's going to be a consensus of just regular people, guys like me who push a wheelbarrow, you're going to get a consensus that here's what we want to do. And this is how we're going to decide it, is by the people that are working and milling about in their daily lives, not some oligarch or some really rich person or some inherited thing like kings and queens or popes. We're trying to do something magnanimous. It's a magnanimous event in human history, and it's not done. It's barely gotten started. This is the way I view it. It's only 200 some plus years old, but we're doing it. And I think we just have to keep pushing to be better all the time and pushing to hold our authorities in accountability is the biggest thing.
Do you think that we're doing that? Pushing to be better all the time, holding our authorities accountable?
I think that it's not as noticeable as a lot of people might think it is, but I think the effects of it are huge. Like if I go out and do
the question is, are we doing that? Not what the effects of it are. Are we now doing that? Are we holding authorities accountable? Are we whatever it was you said every day that we need to do?
Well, at this present time, I would say, are we at the point where we're happy with that? No, I would say no.
No, are we doing it? You said we have, this is what makes us great or whatever, holding these people accountable.
Well, it's the idea
and that I don't see that happening.
No, I'm not saying that we've accomplished it. I'm saying that's our idea. Okay, so we're going to keep working for that idea.
I don't think so. We've been working for that. We've been working for that idea forever, and what has got us is a fucking never-ending war on drugs. And America is a police state, and if you don't fucking listen to the cops right now, they're gonna shoot you and then lie about it and say that you did this fucking thing, so we had the right to shoot them because I feared for my life, like a big giant fucking pussy cops are in this country.
Yeah, yes, I agree. We were not the people. I think since the internet and since the legalization of weed, by the way, I think the legalization of weed is way bigger cosmologically than people would like to admit, especially scientists or anybody in authority. But people that are in the background, it's like, okay, that's a huge win. It's not definitive in any measurable way, but it does provide a pathway. It's an established point of advance that they're okay, that's done now. There's no more of this. And so from that point, you're at it.
Yep, he hung up. Oh well. I'm gonna play my hands were right here. I didn't reach over there and do that. He hung up. I'm gonna play a video. I gotta make a new cup of tea. I'll be back momentarily. If you want to call, the number's right there on the screen. This is a video about Israel bombing Gaza yesterday. So I think it's important because I don't see anybody else talking about it. Be right back.
We begin here in the region with Israeli warplanes striking a Hamas target in the Gaza Strip overnight. The Israeli Defense Forces issuing a statement saying the attack was in response to incendiary balloons launched into southern Israel earlier on Thursday, causing at least 4 minor fires. The airstrikes attacked several sites Hamas uses to manufacture weapons, Israel warning that the IDF will respond to any aggression, although another fire broke out today in Israel. The suspected cause more arson balloons launched from Gaza. Meanwhile, an Israeli delegation returned from Cairo without making progress on a potential prisoner swap with Hamas. The Lebanese El Akhbar newspaper reporting that Hamas is willing to provide information on the condition of the 2 Israeli civilians being held in Gaza in exchange for the release of Palestinian prisoners. And for more now, let's cross live to the Gaza border where our Middle East correspondent Ariel Osaran is there standing by. So Ariel, what more can you tell us about today's events?
Right, Alex. So today has been fairly quiet in the area where I'm standing after yesterday's 4 fires that erupted from incendiary balloons sent over from Gaza. There has been a report a couple hours ago of a fire that broke out in the Eshkol Regional Council. That's a little bit down south from where I'm standing. According to the Israeli Fire Authority, they are currently investigating the cause of that fire, whether it was caused by an incendiary balloon, and I believe the results of that investigation will determine whether we will see an Israeli response like we did yesterday.
Right, the Israeli response is usually coming at night, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Also, some reports that the Israeli delegation that was speaking with the Egyptian mediators about a possible prisoner swap with Hamas, that was not a very successful talk, so we're hearing.
No, so far we haven't seen anything come out of these talks. There was an Israeli delegation that was in Cairo this week. There was another delegation last week. And this Al Akhbar report that you mentioned, coming from Lebanon, that Hamas is willing to hand over information on the health and mental condition of the Israelis, the 2 Israelis held in Gaza by Hamas. I think that's interesting because for the past 7 years, the time that they've held these 2 Israelis, there hasn't been any proof of life. Their families don't know what their current situation is. And so this does seem like another attempt by Hamas, as we've seen in recent months, to inflict a little bit of psychological pressure on the families and the Israeli public to try and move forward such a deal.
Right, and the Israeli government saying that that's very important for them to have some sort of progress on the condition of these civilians and the remains of the IDF soldiers, 2 IDF soldiers who are there. Ariel, we'll get back to you in one moment. We're just going to go here to another somewhat related story. Residents of the Israeli outpost of Evyatar, southeast of Nablus in the West Bank, evacuated today, replaced by IDF soldiers until a survey of the land and processing of ownership claims can be completed as part of a deal negotiated with the Israeli government. In the nearby village of Beita, Palestinians protesting against the Israeli outpost clashed with security forces. Palestinian reports indicate 7 people were injured by rubber bullets in those events. So back to you, Ariel. Here we're talking about events happening in the West Bank. What more can you tell us about that?
Right, yeah. So while they're examining the fires here in the Gaza border, up in the West Bank, there have been these clashes between Palestinians and Israeli security forces. This comes as the illegal outpost of Eviatar was families removed themselves, 53 families who arrived there 9 weeks ago after a terror attack, the killing of his 19-year-old Igal Guetta. So these families established this outpost, and now 9 weeks after, they removed themselves in accordance to an agreement they came to with the Israeli government. And while this peaceful removal was going on, not too far from there, there were a little bit less than peaceful clashes between Palestinians and Israeli security forces. As you mentioned, the Palestinian official news agency Wafa reported that 7 Palestinians were injured by Israeli rubber bullets, and also dozens others received medical treatment due to tear gas that was used against them to disperse the crowds. Alec?
All right, Ariel Saran, thank you very much for wrapping up some of the major events of the day here in Israel, in the borders, and in the surrounding area. So thank you very much. Now to Israel.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
I mean, this coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. I wish the coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack.
That took a second longer than I expected it to. It takes me like 3 minutes or 4 minutes to make a cup of tea, and I needed something to eat, so I got a little food. Just in case we actually go for another minute or two. Which I'm good with, you know. If not, we can go start our weekend too. Here we go. Hello, caller.
Hey, Ma, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you, Brandon?
You know what? Good, man, but you have a really good question you're asking. You know, is, you know, the United States the best country in the world? And I can tell you, I think people, even Americans, are starting to second guess it.
Yeah.
I've actually talked to my wife about maybe like relocating
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily outside, but at least maybe to get out of the lower 48, possibly, or maybe a territory. Like me and her even talked about that, to be honest with you.
Well, Hawaii's very nice. I don't know about the territories. Wait, you mean like Puerto Rico or something, or Philippines?
Well,
or?
I still like what we stand for and our freedoms, but it's just shit's just getting so crazy. Just with basic shit like road rage or just something stupid to where we're really behaving kind of weird. And I don't really want to be around it, if that makes any sense.
I totally understand. That's the way I feel about California. There's like this tension.
Yeah.
There's this constant tension, like something bad is about to happen. I don't want to be around it. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, it seems like everybody is looking for a fight.
I think that's part of the programming. They all watch these movies where everybody's so fucking tough, and
yeah,
everybody is so weird, Brandon. It's like everybody's got guns in the movies. When I go to look at movies, look for something. If I see a gun on the cover of the movie, I just move on. If there's two guns, especially, I'm just like had enough of that, more or less. But it's like every time in a movie, when somebody pulls out a gun, if somebody's got a gun in their hand, somebody's about to die. And that's not the way it works in the world. Just because you have a gun out, although that means somebody can die in the next second, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's going to happen. But in the movies, that's always what happens.
Yeah, I don't really like watching movies with guns in it neither, especially like newer movies, like an old movie like Rambo or Cobra or whatever, from back in the day. That prior to 9/11, of course. I have no problem, saying the diehards or anything like that. But it really got to where it's just this is the only thing. Like I got a Paramount Plus, and I watched that new Mark Wahlberg movie, and it was just like Fast and Furious with guns in it. There was really no movie storyline about it, which it could have been a good storyline. It's all about guns and violence or whatever. And that seems to me that's just our nature now. Violence, violence, violence. I mean, we ain't gotta have guns to make it violent, but man, we got some problems.
Well, let me ask you, what is it you think the United States has made happen in the 21st century other than war?
Well, I would say freedom to innovate, meaning think outside the box. Like certain countries had a culture, and that culture always thinks a certain way. Well, when everyone came to America and all these different cultures came together, just the ideas expanded. You know what I'm saying? And I would say that's what made us great, and that's also our weakness because we have a hard time calling our own out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of our ancestors. As Americans in general, not just the American government.
Right. Well.
So, but we're a melting pot.
Right.
But I would say, just that.
Okay.
That.
Well, let me say. Look, the question that I just asked you is, what is it that the United States has made happen in the first quarter of this century, the 21st century? What is it that we've made happen other than war?
Well, it's not like we, it's not like we started them. I mean, you mean World War I, World War II?
No, that's the 20th century.
Okay, so okay, you talking about 9/11 and shit. I got it.
Since then,
Yeah. Well, maybe. So, I think that the real people that run the country, they have a very deep 30-year agenda, and we'll find out how that works out.
yeah, I agree. They have an agenda and it's all planned out. I agree with that.
You know, there's obviously there's something going on. You know, but
Right, but I'm just asking you, Brandon. I mean, you know, you've been around, you pay attention.
We just made money, man. Look, let's be honest. We've made more millionaires and billionaires than any other country. And
From what I understand,
whatever cost,
there's
what
more.
it is.
Brandon, there's more billionaires in China than there is in the United States.
Yes, but I'm talking about you mentioned like this last portion, you know, of the 21st, and I'm like, it's got to be the entrepreneurship, making money and stuff like that. That's our contribution, minus wars.
I really like to see,
hunger, man.
you know, I'd like to see our government, our world making something bigger happen than a comply or die police state and never-ending wars. You know, that's all we've done in the 21st century, Brandon. Expand the police state. I mean, what did we do? Oh, we created Facebook and YouTube, which is now just another part of the police state. You say something wrong, you're kicked off. You go to Facebook jail.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Man, I mean,
I'm looking for something else. I'd like to hear something else. I really would. I'd like to go, oh, you're right. That's a good thing we did.
Well, but, you know, it's unfortunately, every country looks at every other country like competition, and it's always competing with each other. Meaning, if you're a pitcher on a baseball team, you're going to compete with the pitcher on the other team. Everything's very competitive, even at all levels. It's not no kumbaya where one country says, hey, you make all the grapes. Let me buy your grapes, and we'll sell you what we grow, bananas. It doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? There's always somebody, you know, just trying to get, just to get a little extra out the goddamn deal, man. And that's just how that political bullshit works. You know, so, like all the great shit that we did, it's overshadowed by a lot of bad shit that we did.
Okay, what great shit that we did again?
So, I mean, hey, man, we somebody got an opportunity in this country because of the freedoms of the opportunity or the programs, and they made it. And some people didn't. But that's about it, man. It's all of, we are a capitalist country. It's all about the dollar, man. And it always will be.
I hope
until
not.
the dollar isn't no more.
Well, I hope that we can see a higher state of mind than all that matters is money, because that's the reason that the manatees are dying. That's the reason the orcas are dying. That's the reason that there's a massive extinction
Of course,
over.
I agree with you, but guess what? That doesn't affect people in Kansas, man. They don't give a fuck about no fucking whales.
It will.
You know, they don't give a shit.
The top of the food chain is dying. That's where we stand.
Yeah, but again, they're looking at a steer or a cow and a pig and some chickens, and that's how they want to eat. We're such a big country, and we're so spread out, and we're so tribal that that's why people like in the Midwest just don't give a shit about what happens on the coast. You know, they think y'all solid, but yet y'all are the fishermen. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. You know, yeah, it's weird, man.
You have plans for the weekend?
No, man. No, we ain't doing that.
You guys have fireworks there?
Yeah, but I try to stay away from that shit, dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. The dogs hate it. The dogs hate it. So I think all
I don't really care for it.
I think I really don't use fireworks. I mean, it's a bad. The reason I say that is because it bothers my dogs. But the real thing is, it bothers every animal within, you know, a 2-mile radius or whatever. They're all fucking scared as hell because there's explosions going off everywhere. So, you know, if you care, you know, I don't think it's a good way to celebrate independence by lighting up fireworks. I think that that's a deception to get you to believe, like, oh, we're celebrating freedom. That's not what freedom is about. Freedom is an everyday thing. Right. Freedom is an everyday thing where when someone says something you don't like, you say, you know what? I may not agree with you, but I support your right to say it because I love freedom. And all these people now are like, oh, no, you can't say this, you can't say that. Well, what's your problem with freedom, buddy? Maybe you should go live in another country.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll buy like little small fireworks for the kids. You know, like little sparklers and shit they can throw around.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that old boom and shit, and and then you know, it's kind of weird right now. Like it's weird, man. Like where I live at, a lot of people take a shit a little overboard.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they've been in lockdown. Yeah. They've been in lockdown for a year and a half, and they're like thinking that they're free now. So, you know, I mean, they're craving that just be able to go out. Like, I really was looking forward to music, you know. We went and saw a show last week, and I was really happy to go. Actually, Craig wanted to go tonight to go do a show, but I can't leave the dogs alone this weekend. So, because they do not like fireworks, and I don't want them to be alone.
Yeah, okay. Well, all right, Mark, good to chat with you, brother. Yeah, man, but listen, overall, we just keep working to try to get America as perfect as we can get it, man. You know?
I think America being perfect, you know, it already is perfect. We just have evil government, okay? America is perfect, but we have this evil government, this committing, you know, this psychological operation on the American people to divide and conquer us and make us constantly afraid. And you know, it's a great country. It's just we have this shit leadership, because all these things where they're like divide and conquer and make us as afraid as possible, that's fucking a planned thing, and the government's very aware of it, and they're doing nothing to stop it. They want us divided. It works very well for them.
Well, it's called crony capitalism, and on that mark, I'll leave it like that, brother. It's good to talk to you, man.
It's always good to hear from you, Brandon. I hope you enjoy your weekend.
All right.
See ya.
You too. Hey, guys. God bless. Take care.
Thanks for calling. All right, that's our buddy Brandon, and I have a couple more videos to play for you. Did I play the fireworks one? I'm gonna play the fireworks one real quick, and we'll go from there. If anybody wants to call, this is about fireworks and the legality of fireworks in our county here in the Seattle area.
All right, thank you, Nick. King County fire crews are bracing themselves for what should be a hectic holiday weekend. Officials tell KIRO 7's Lauren Donovan they're worried about fireworks mixing with an exceptionally dry out landscape.
As more counties crack down, the territory that you can sell fireworks in continues to shrink. Just ask this family from Issaquah, who's been running this stand here on the edge of Sammamish for over 5 years.
It slowly got like more and more limited. So
Ashleen Anderson tells us her family had 2 stands, one here in the dirt along Sahali Way.
We had one in Bothell this year and it got shut down, so we thankfully had this one, so we got to do this one instead.
Anderson says the city of Bothell decided that based on the unusual weather we've been having.
It was definitely hard because we obviously spent money setting up. We had to let a bunch of people go.
Anderson tells us they're sad to see the patriotic pastime disappear.
So it's definitely tough to get rid of a lot of that, but I mean, at least with the weather, it's a little bit understandable.
In preparation of the holiday weekend and the chaos fireworks can cause, the Skyway Fire Department is doubling staff, and there are concerns that the 911 systems could be overwhelmed.
Let's face it, hanging out at home, barbecuing with your families is much better than worrying about burning down your neighbor's house.
A surgeon working in the Harborview Trauma Unit tells us they plan to work 24/7 on skin grafts, eye loss, and hand surgeries.
We already have multiple operating rooms extra for 4th of July.
King County Fire asks for all these reasons that you avoid lighting anything off at home this year. Reporting in Skyway, Lauren Donovan, Cairo 7 News.
Bellevue Police and Fire are bringing back a high-tech tool to track illegal fireworks. It's called My Bellevue. Residents will be able to drop a pin location on a city map, and they can add details and description of anyone violating fireworks before submitting. Officers and firefighters get the updates in about 30 seconds and will deploy resources to the largest clusters first. The city says it will free up 911 resources.
All right, so you see this app thing where you can report to the police on your neighbors and whatever. If you see somebody shooting off fireworks, I will bet you that there's going to be people driving around looking for people with fireworks and then getting out of their car and using their app to tell the cops where the fireworks are at. Like this. Like, you know, they're being part of the police state. Ooh, I gotta be a cop now. I gotta snitch on my neighbors. Which, you know, I don't want fires to start around here because the place is a tinderbox right now. That being said, I immediately clicked into this mode where I can see people driving around and like, oh, here's one, and feeling like, you know, they're the cops. Ooh. We're doing, and I bet you that you know, that some of them would even get out of their car and like ask if they can film the fireworks, and while they're filming, they're actually filming the people's faces, and be like, see, I got evidence. Because that's how some people's minds work. I want to be part of the police state. I always wished I could be a cop. Me too. I remember I grew up with cops around, and a lot of cops, and they all had fucked up brains. I would hang out with them around off-duty shit when I was a kid, and they were always trying to fuck with me. Like, let's fuck with this kid. You know, I mean, like, why can't you just relax for a minute and trying to fuck with people? You're always fucking with people all day long. Why you gotta fuck with the kid? So, and they all, more or less, they all have substance abuse issues. You know, that always bothered me. I don't want to hang out with people like that. You know, not anymore. I don't know where I was going with that. But, oh yeah, the police, wanted to be part of the police state. That's not something that I want to be part of. I want to end it. I want it gone from our country. I want freedom for everyone. You know, if we get rid, look, if we just end the drug war, we're going to easily end 50% of crime in this country. Easily. So what that means, if we end 50% of crime, it gives the police the opportunity to focus on crimes that actually hurt people, as opposed to victimless crimes, like some asshole snorting cocaine off a hooker's ass. You know, you want to have a hooker? How is that anybody else's business? She wants to be a hooker? How is that anybody else's business? That girl was definitely too young for you.
The reporter, not the fucking...
Oh, okay.
The fucking reporter. Go back and watch the reporter. She's looking in the camera going, I know I'm hot and you all want to sleep with me, but I'm actually a reporter, so I'm too cool for you. But man, I can really feel my juices flowing, and everyone loves me because I get signals from every guy in the world, and the ducks too. Aflac, Aflac, I'd like to Aflac. Well, she was hot, but she's definitely too young for me. Everyone is too young for me. I'm old. I'm crusty.
No, I thought you were talking about the 14-year-old in the video.
No, the fireworks girl is like Greta Thunberg, except not quite as Swedish, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think fireworks are illegal in my town, too, but, well, actually not. I mean, you guys have fireworks shows, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's okay for the government to issue a permit to a city, or the city to issue a permit to itself, but we can't use it because we're not smart enough or
Not responsible enough. You're gonna hurt someone or yourself.
Yeah.
You must be
Well, now-
babysat every second. Say as I do as I say, not as I do. What is wrong with you, man?
Yeah, when I lived in L.A. as a kid, I lived in Hawthorne, and I could just ride my bike half a mile to Inglewood, and fireworks were legal, and they had fireworks stands all over, like Inglewood Boulevard, Inglewood Avenue or something, and we'd just ride back to the city where they were illegal, and we'd fire them off, and
Yeah, but they didn't have like firecrackers and stuff like that, right? Roman candles.
and bottle rockets, all kinds of stuff, man. And they make a killing, you know. You steal all the 12-year-old kids are stealing money out of their mom's purse to go drive a half a mile.
When I was a kid, firecrackers were illegal.
Firecrackers? Fuck, I bought M80s, man.
Yeah, they were illegal when I was a kid in California.
What, in Santa Cruz?
California.
Los Osos.
Yeah. You know Los Osos?
Yeah, it's south of Santa Cruz, right?
Like 100 miles south of Santa Cruz.
Yeah, well, I drove up from Ojai and I kissed a girl in a park in Los Osos, and that's why I remember Los Osos. 'Cause
I spent a lot of time in Los Osos when I was a kid. I kissed a few girls there, among other things.
So you know what Osos are, right?
Bear?
Right. What?
Bear?
Yeah, you're right. There you go. Bah! You win the big prize. $500 worth of free fireworks.
No
Bear. How do you spell bear? B-A-E-R, bear. Ah, wrong. Fuck. What a day. I'm all right, Mom. Fuck. I'm not doing anything for 4th of July. I got a tri-tip. And
That sounds pretty good.
I hate people. I hate gay people that rent from me, that fuck everything up and complain and complain and complain and complain. Get the fuck out of my house before I chop you up with a fucking machete.
Okay, we don't want to talk. You know, you just made it a hate crime if you do that.
Hate crime.
Yeah.
It's called venting. Venting. Everyone gets to vent on 4th of July. Shoot your shotgun into the sky and praise Jesus. You know Mount Rushmore, where we got all the heads of all the important presidents, Roosevelt and all those
Trump's
guys.
not up there, so it's not all the important presidents.
Well, they were talking about putting him up there, but I don't think that's
I'm
on
sure
the menu
Trump was
anymore.
talking about that. Go ahead.
But that used to be called Five Grandfathers, and it was the Indian name for it. And then the white man came in and carved their faces on the four faces on the Five Grandfathers, and it's no longer an Indian monument. It's, so I missed your whole show because I was yelling at gay people and fucking laying carpet and fucking. So anything exciting happened, Michael? Now that I'm done with my gay.
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
Did my favorite caller, Playground of Dr. Crocodile, call?
Twice.
Really? Are you jiving?
What now? No.
Well, he called twice tonight. I missed it. God, I love when that guy calls because he's so intellectual, you know? It's just, I missed it.
I'll tell you what right now, he's much smarter than most people think.
What?
He's much smarter than most people think.
Oh, yeah, I know he's got to have. I think he is. I think he is. I think you're right. But I thought you were going to go see a concert tonight.
No, I can't. I can't leave the dogs alone. They don't like fireworks. I'm not leaving them alone.
Well, yeah, but I thought it was illegal where you're at, so nobody's shooting off
Yeah,
fireworks,
it doesn't matter. No, people shoot off fireworks. I've been shooting them off for nights.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty weird. I guess everybody likes fireworks except the guys that have been in a war. What did Brandon have to say about fireworks? Because I know he just called.
He said he doesn't do any fireworks. He prefers not to deal with fireworks.
Yeah, I would imagine people that have seen live rounds going off of all different calibers and types.
Above their head.
Yeah, or IEDs, they don't want to hear a bunch of bangs and flashes and by the dawn's early light. The I think it's the fourth verse of the Star Spangled Banner talks about black people washing ships, washing the warships. You can look it up, Google it. Just Google the last verse of the Star Spangled Banner, and it's talking about slaves washing all the warships while the bombs are bursting over their heads. And it's a real racist. Of course, they left that one out. They didn't teach us that one in school, but originally it was Francis Scott Key was a racist mother humper, and not too many people know that. But
well, it seems like most of the people then were pretty well, in America anywhere, were pretty well racist, I guess.
Yeah, what, a black person was 5/8 of a human being, and it's like, dude, man, those black people, they suffered and suffered. And did you ever see the movie? I think it's called Amistad.
Is that a Fellini movie?
It was a Steven Spielberg movie about a slave ship and slaves that eventually made it all the way to the Supreme Court. And it's based on a true story.
Amarcord is a Fellini movie.
Amarcord?
Yeah. I think it was nominated for an Oscar, or it won Best Oscar. I saw it on the big screen when I was a kid. I didn't understand it.
Amazing movie. I didn't see it till like a year ago because I try to stay away from Steven Spielberg movies.
Yeah.
But I saw it and it blew me away, man. It was like so fucking good. It's like, and every detail, even though they changed stuff around to make the movie more interesting, every detail is completely accurate about the slave trade and what they did and the loss of human life and the devaluing and Africa and the English language and the Americas and the justice system and the struggle between the abolitionists and the slavery and slavers, and it's just a horrible, only one horrible, lengthy chapter in the American saga, butchery and debauchery and genocide. I mean, let's not mention the Native Americans. They were, that's another horror. But
so you think this is the best country to live in, or you think that there's other countries that would be better place?
I am not proud of my country, but and I live in California, and I understand that California has a really bad reputation because the media, because of San Francisco and LA and Gavin Newsom and left-wing politics. But I grew up here, and I ain't leaving. And I think if you Google what's the best country in the world to live in, they would probably tell you the Netherlands, because it's a socialist country. They got free education, they got free health care. It's like everybody gets some kind of basic income, and you're just you could if I lived in the Netherlands, I could make my living with a synthesizer and a PA, and I just make art all day long and smoke as much weed as I already do all that.
If you create art in the Netherlands, they will pay you to create art. Like if you're an artist and you're a painter or you're this or you're that, they will pay you for just for being an art and creating art. So what you're doing for free, and these other people are creating art and getting paid for it by the government. So
anybody have any idea who this guy Banksy is? Is it one guy? Is he a real guy? Is it a group of people that all go by the same name? I've heard so many theories about this Banksy guy. How does he travel all over the world to do all this stuff in Palestine and France and New York? And how, you know, I don't know how he does it, but I think it's probably more than one person doing the art. But yeah, man, I was thinking about it, money today and the quest for money, and I started to write a song about...
wrote a song about it. Want to hear it?
It's never enough. Something about it's never enough. I didn't write it down yet, but I'll remember it. And the quest for money, and you know, that's cool to be paid for art, and I'm not paid for art, but
I'm just saying, in the Netherlands, you know, there's other things too. You know, I mean, it's this thing with the homeless people, and you know, no mental health kind of, you know, helping people. It's just, we're in a very difficult place, and I you know, for me, I talk about how I don't like computers, and I don't want, and I can't figure out how to make it so that my life doesn't have like computers in my life every fucking day. And I think, you know, somewhere like Costa Rica, you know, or Thailand, where you just find this little spot and hang out on the beach, and I think you could probably get away with like not having to deal with computers more than maybe once a month or something, you know?
I have a friend who lived in Ojai, California, and she sold her house and went to Thailand, and she runs a little resort called the Chill Out House.
Nice.
And that's what she does. And they have a big, giant expat community there where all the American expatriates are band together, and that you can buy land, and the disparity between the Buddhist Thailanders, you know, they're all Buddhists, and the money they make and the money the Americans bring with them, it's like, you know, you're like a millionaire. You go with $100 grand, and it's like being a billionaire in Thailand. And I've never been there, but I think, I don't know, everybody, when I was a kid, my dad had this book, How to Get Out of the Rat Race and Live on $5 a Day.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
And I read a couple pages, and my dad was just a working class schmuck who never really grew his brain very much and believed in his country so much. And I said, well, you know, Dad, if I was old enough to go to Vietnam, I think I would go to Canada. And he started yelling at me. That must have been about, I don't know, 1971 or something like that. And it's like, oh, you betray your own country. And it turns out I was right. I was the only one in the whole family that was right. I forged a life. I forged an identity. I was a rebel. Everyone, no one else, none of the other kids can dance. None of them are free. None of them, they all got false personalities. So here's to the rebels. Then you don't need fireworks to be you don't have to blow shit up to be a rebel. So, you know, hot dogs and apple pie ain't enough for America to be considered the best country in the world. I mean, I think we have the best document in the world called the Constitution.
Now I want fucking apple pie, dude. What are you doing to me? Hot dogs and apple pie. I want hot dogs now, too. Fuck!
Dutch apples, I think, is the best. It's got that crusty stuff on the top.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, way better than just regular apple pie. But, yeah, man, I just bought a tri-tip. I'll probably cut it in half and pan fry it in some honey and oil, and then you cut it open, and it's almost, it's really rare on the inside, you know, and juicy. That's the way I like it, you know.
And then you make sandwiches out of it?
Or something. Maybe just have rice and tri-tip. That's about it, you know.
But, I love making sandwiches out of tri-tip.
Traditionally and every year, the most dangerous day of the year, you know, people will say New Year's or Halloween. Sorry, it's 4th of July. More people die, more drunk drivers, more accidents, more fires, more dogs die, more people get angry and kill people. It's the most dangerous day of the year. It's 4th of July. So, and on top of all that, every police force is manned to the boot. They're just loaded up. They're paying everybody overtime. Go arrest people, and they're giving them their little Dewey badges. You know, so you arrest 19 people on 4th of July, you get a free dinner at Arby's for a week, you know, or something.
Those
like,
people don't pay for shit, man. When they're on duty, they just get free shit everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I hear that. But hey, whatever happened with that deal? I think it was a coffee shop that refused to serve those cops.
It wasn't a coffee shop, it was a barista, and he got fired.
And that was the end of it. And the owner apologized and gave him free coffee. Right?
Yeah. Which, you know, I hope all the other people that were their regular customers boycott them now because, again, they hate freedom, you know? And I don't want to serve cops. Fuck cops. Fuck the police. Get the fuck out of my store.
I don't actually know how I feel about that. I think I would have just kept, if I was a barista, I would have kept my mouth shut and gave the guys coffee and maybe, hey, where's my tip or something like that. But I would, you know, each to their own.
Well, I posted a few stories like that over the years. There's a donut store in Portland that's very well known called Voodoo Donuts. They won't serve cops. There's a sign on the door that says no cops. They've been interviewed about it. They say, it makes my other customers nervous. We don't want the cops here, you know? So.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not a cop sucker, but I'm also not gonna fuck them up. As long as they don't have an attitude, you know?
Well, dude, can you imagine me walking into a cop bar and trying to order and hang out there? I mean,
order a what?
Order a fucking burger and hang out at a goddamn cop bar. Okay, they have their own bars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I've seen them on the movies, but I've never actually been in a cop bar. So.
Well, they're not fucking hanging out in like normal bars with each other. I mean, it's gonna get them in trouble, one way or another. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, it's easily understandable that cops might make clientele, you know, uncomfortable. You know, if you go to the weed store and there's a cop car out front and a cop standing there, you might think twice about walking in the weed store. I wouldn't, and I hope most people wouldn't. I hope most people like fuck the police as they walk by. You know, that's just me.
Yeah, the abuse of power within the police departments is so documented and so long-standing that the cops literally gotten away with beating hundreds of people for no reason, and no charges were ever filed. So the stuff that's going on now, you know, with Chauvin and all the murders of black people and white people and other people, you know, and I think Oakland is probably one of the worst, at least they used to be one of the worst police departments. And everybody, you know, Detroit will say, we got the worst. Chicago will say, we got the worst. The people in LA say, our department is the worst. You know, Rampart Division is the worst. I don't know where the worst one is. I just know it's all over the place. And cops need to consider themselves part of society, and society needs to just keep their eye on the fucking cops. And eventually things might straighten out, you know.
Look, again, this is the kind of thing where if the cops would just take care of the dirty cops, then we could go, look, they're the good cops. It's like what I keep saying about us having to be the ones to take down the fucking government. Okay, we have to take it down so that the other people will look at us in the world and say, look, those are good people, as opposed, yeah, they're just a bunch of warmongers who want to create war everywhere around the world. That country needs to fucking be destroyed. No, it's the government, and it has to be destroyed by our people. Okay, so the police are the same way. The police should be, governing themselves. They know who the bad cops are. They know which cops are going to go out and they're going to hurt somebody. They know that. And instead of saying, oh, well, we got to get rid of this person because we want to have cops, we want the people of our communities to look up to the police. That doesn't even seem to cross their mind. It's like, it's almost that they're trying to do the opposite. They're like, we don't want your love. We want you to be afraid of us, you know?
Well, when I was married, it must have been 20-something years ago, I had a minor incident involving a knife and a baseball bat and a shovel and a home invasion robbery where the guys were running through my fucking house. And finally the cops showed up, and I got arrested, and the other guys got arrested, and the cop had his discretionary power at the time, and he decided, well, I'm just going to arrest everybody and let the DA sort it out. And it must have been 25 years ago, and that's how I found out about DAs. Like, once it goes to the DA, you're pretty much fucked.
Yeah.
Because the DA just wants another notch in their belt.
Prosecution. Yeah.
Yeah, the prosecutor, yeah. So I told the prosecutor, who was a Chinese lady, hey, what are you doing? The cops are on my side, you know, and she just looked at me. And then I got a lawyer, and the lawyer dug a little deeper and verified my story. And I got off, and the criminals disappeared. But my point is, the cop that had that discretionary power, he was younger than me. He knew what went down. He made the wrong decision, and within the year he was fired not because of my case, but probably because of other cases. And I remember him telling me, Mike, you know, this is a week later or 2 weeks later, he said, Mike, you don't pull out a fucking weapon. You just fight with your hands, and you get a few bruises, man, but it's no big deal. And it's like a home invasion robbery. He's telling me not to use a fucking weapon. I get arrested for using a weapon in my own fucking home, and this guy is telling me to be Brutus,
Yeah, to take a beating, yeah.
Take a fucking beating in my own house, and he was wrong, and the DA had no case, and he was off the force driving a tractor within a year. And I used to see him on different jobs. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, you're the guy that arrested me. Oh, yeah. It's like, you fucking dumb motherfucker. I just think there's dumb cops that they just go by the letter of the law. Well, you know, he was halfway out the window or some stupid thing like that.
Right, but it wasn't the letter of the law when you got arrested because that's how you got off. It was a violation of the law, and you have the right to protect your home, and right? Yeah. So right. It wasn't the letter of the law. It was him deciding, I'm going to make sure everybody knows who's in charge.
Yeah, and my main point is these guys aren't so fucking bright. A guy with an IQ above 90 could have figured out, home invasion robbery, maybe I should just arrest the home invaders and not the homeowner, you know. But no, it's like, you know, don't expect me to be Johnny Citizen and not protect my own. And yeah, well, I called you guys a fucking hour ago. They show up in an hour, and it's all over in an hour, you know. So,
and if he's saying just don't pull out a weapon, you know, what if they pull out a weapon when you don't pull a weapon, you know? But just use your fist. What if they pull out a knife and start fucking trying to stab you? You know, I mean, then you fucking bleed out.
I had the knife and he had the shovel.
Yeah, well, I prefer a 6-foot bamboo pole, but you know, whatever works.
I think you watch too many kung fu movies, dude. Haven't you ever seen that fucking samurai dude just chop the bamboo pole down to nothing, and the guy's just looking at 6 inches of bamboo in his hand?
Yeah, well, you don't know. I mean, I would think you would know bamboo better than that.
Well, I got giant bamboo at my house in 3 different locations. They're like 30 foot tall.
And you cut it with a knife, is that right?
Fuck, no.
Fuck no, that's what I'm saying.
Fuck, it's hard to cut with a chainsaw, dude.
Yeah.
But
30 foot tall, how long has it been growing?
At least 20 years.
Yeah.
And just within the last 6 months, I had to run a roto-rooter on my main line because those roots can travel like 20 foot under the ground. And
I've
they
heard
got
that.
into the main line. And,
I've heard that.
yeah. So I mean, any kind of bamboo is kind of a bitch, kind of a problem because it spreads.
Yeah.
But the giant bamboo is so beautiful. That,
Oh man, when they show, I watch a lot of Chinese movies, and when they show them going through these bamboo forests, I'm just like, fuck, I want to go see that so bad.
Yeah, they got them in Burbank, man. They have it's like some special kind of park, and the bamboo is more than 50 feet tall, and it's twice the size of my giant bamboo, and it's been growing for 100 years. And it's like 6 inches across in diameter, and mine is only about 3.5 at the most. But giant bamboo is awesome, dude. And
yeah, like I say, when I see those forests in the Chinese movies, I just think, oh man, I would love to go hang out in one of those forests for a while.
Yeah, there's something really peaceful about bamboo, and yeah. But my point with the cop is like, the guy made a mistake with me. He must have made a mistake with 5 other people. He probably beat somebody up too many times, too many people, and he got fired. And I don't feel sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for any cop that's got no common sense. And unfortunately, if you're too smart, they might not let you on the force, Yeah. So God bless America, man. So I don't know. We have canyons and national parks and rivers and oceans and mountains and lakes, and the people are okay. Most people are pretty good, but we got problems. So I'm just gonna eat my tri-tip and drink my grape juice and chill out. Cause
Smoke a fatty.
Say what?
Smoke a fatty.
Yeah. Well, I smoke a pipe. I stopped rolling joints.
Yeah,
but,
whatever. It's all the same.
Yeah, well, you have a good 4th, too. What's today? Today's the 2nd, so we're looking at Sunday. It's the 4th.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to hang out at home and with the dogs. But, other than that, I don't even know if I can take them to the lake in the afternoon because I'm afraid there'll be fireworks down there, Which is fucked up. I really want to take them to the lake this weekend, but I don't know if we can do it or not. Because Craig's going out of town next weekend, so.
Yeah, and it's probably pretty easy to measure the amount of carbon and pollutants that go into the air every 4th of July. It's probably the most polluting day in America outside of a forest fire or a volcano. And so, I don't know. It's like, it just seems kind of redundant to me to, Halloween doesn't seem redundant because, you dress up and you dance and you have a good time and the kids get to pretend that they're monsters. And Christmas, is, depending on your family, can be pretty good. My family sucks, so I don't celebrate Christmas. But 4th of July is like, oh, let's all get drunk, man. Woo! So I'm not into it, but I hope everybody is safe and happy because it's just another day. 5th of July is just another day.
Yeah, well, a lot of people get the day off when they normally wouldn't get the day off. And like I say, just go and enjoy, It doesn't have to be whatever. Just enjoy and, look at the people around you and make sure that they're safe, I don't know. People are a little bit wound up right now, so.
Yeah, I'm wound up because of my rental situation. I finally got rid of a guy, and I hope he don't come back because I was just about to go pull a Johnny membership on him, but thank God it's Friday. So I don't know. All right, Mike. Well, you have a good 4th, and I'll see you on Monday, maybe.
Okay, cool. Take it easy. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
All right. So I have another video here about what do I have a video about? About troops leaving Afghanistan, Washington State National Guard going to the border, Kennedy. Oh, free Britney. Okay, free Britney is a hashtag in the text, and you've heard me talking about Britney for a while. I don't feel bad for a lot of people. I really feel bad for Britney. I don't feel bad for any celebrities I can think of, short of like Julian Assange, right, who I don't really think is a celebrity. But I feel really bad for Britney. Britney has worked her ass off since she was like 5 years old. She became a Mouseketeer at like 10, I think. And she worked really hard to get there. And then once she became a Mouseketeer, she had to work her ass off to be like, it's this constant. It's a 10-year-old supposed to be off playing and doing fun stuff. Instead, she's doing a job. It's busting ass. So she's been doing this her whole life. Now she has a Vegas deal. I think she makes like $20-30 million a year in Las Vegas, but she performs every single night in Vegas at a hotel. So I think again, and they won't let her have any of her money. If she wants to go buy a Ferrari, she's not allowed to go buy a Ferrari. And Kennedy really spells it out here. So Kennedy clip, like I said, I've been very upset. I feel really bad for Britney. So free Britney, here's that clip, and I'll be right back.
Oops, she did it again. LA County Judge Brenda Penny has denied Britney Spears' request to remove her father, Jamie, as head of her conservatorship. This setback comes 1 week after the pop star's explosive testimony to the court that she describes feeling enslaved by her father, who reportedly refuses to allow Britney to get married or even remove the IUD from her own body. What a heartless monster. However, this decision is not a result of last week's hearing, but from a request filed by Spears' attorney in November of last year. Since last week's devastating confessional, Britney has reportedly asked her lawyer to file a petition to end her conservatorship once and for all. The Free Britney Army will not stop until she is liberated. The Man Panel is back. Mike Chase, Stephen L. Miller, Michael Starr Hopkins. Thursday night, boys. Let's get to it. Let's go to lawyer number 1, Mike Chase. So tell me, what does today's ruling mean?
Yeah, this is a ruling without prejudice, basically meaning based on the previous filing, the court has said that this motion to remove Jamie Spears will not be granted.
Why?
But without prejudice means it can be refiled again. Yeah, it's nothing to get bent out of shape about Kennedy. I want you to calm down. This we can file another motion to free Britney, okay?
All right.
So
can you and I
this is
do it?
without prejudice.
You can do it. Can I do it?
Yeah. You can like ride shotgun with me, but my license is going to be on the line here, so it's my malpractice insurance that's going to be involved. No, look, I think that we should take heart, because if Britney, the fundamental thing is that if Britney can get a lawyer of her choosing, which is a very important thing, then she can file this petition. Now, her current lawyer may do it, but I think she needs somebody really in her corner, somebody she trusts, somebody who's listening to her, obviously listening to her, because there's nothing preventing her from filing a hearty petition to have these restrictions removed. But again, that begins with having vigorous counsel.
Yeah, but Stephen, this is incredible. I don't know if you watched the New York Times Hulu documentary, Framing Britney Spears. But they interviewed the guy who originally was her lawyer, and the judge dismissed him. It's like, yeah, I have a medical file that you can't read, so bye. I'm going to appoint a lawyer for her, which was super lame. She doesn't have agency. She doesn't have a voice. This is so problematic, and it's really the only thing uniting the country right now.
Yeah, I'm not an attorney, so we can go free her. I don't care.
Good, thank you.
I think what's interesting is the Britney Spears story in media reminds me a lot of Monica Lewinsky, where she was treated as kind of a bald-headed circus freak 10 years ago by our media, back when, Perez Hilton, TMZ, they encouraged all of this atmosphere. And now all of these same people are finding themselves cheering her on and trying to rehab her. And I think that this is where we need to learn a lesson about this and say, no, guys, we're not going to kind of let you skate off with how you created the situation, how you treated her kind of like a circus animal, and now you're cheering her on when you guys pretty much kind of contributed to her poor mental state at the time. And I think that that's where we need to start learning lessons. And I reference Monica Lewinsky because of how the media treated her back in '96 with the impeachment, and then try to rehab her, and suddenly she's a hero to them now. And I don't think we should let them get away with that.
No, absolutely not. And Betty Friedan and all those old school 60s feminists who demonized her and who backed up Bill Clinton, it was absolutely disgusting. You are right about that. But also...
Same situation.
Yeah, so Michael Starr Hopkins, you know, there are some people who are taking a contrarian view going, well, you know, maybe she really is mentally ill, maybe she'll lose all her money. But this is not what conservatorships are designed for. It's not designed so your family preys upon you and, you know, they go and make a bunch of money and they make a percentage for every deal they make on your behalf and you get $2,000 a week. I mean, this is nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, everyone around her uses her as an ATM, and it's horrible and it's sad. And this idea that she can't take care of herself, she does a show, twice a day, every day. She doesn't forget her steps. She doesn't forget the words to her song. Like, she is a functioning individual. Now, does she have mental illness? It sounds like it. But that doesn't mean that she should lose her rights and her liberty. And so, you know, free Britney. Like, this is at its most basic level. Free her.
Yes, and I know Bessemer Trust, who was the co-conservator of her estate, Mike, they have petitioned to withdraw from the conservatorship because this is horrible branding for them. Mike Chase.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not a good spot for anybody to be in when you get caught up in one of these conservatorships, because especially one that's being as sort of so much attention is being paid to it like this one. But to echo Michael's point, I mean, it's exactly right, is that, you know, you have a baseline of capacity here. Obviously, a conservatorship has to be tailored to actually address whatever the harm is. But in America, you actually can be quirky and eccentric and all of these things. You can actually blow your money on crazy things. You can buy a chimp. You can buy Neverland Ranch. You can do all these kinds of things without being conserved.
Unless that bitch Carol Baskin has her way.
You said it, not me.
Yeah,
but
right.
I think that, look, I think at the end of the day, what has to happen here, there's evidence that we haven't seen. There's things that are under seal.
Doesn't
we have
matter.
to accept that there's probably something in front of this judge.
Okay, but still, you can take it from 10 to 2. Her entire life does not have to be managed by this conservatorship. And, you know, there are people all the time who spend their money and get into predatory relationships. That doesn't mean that they are not allowed to have children. It's super gross. Speaking of super gross, Bill Cosby apparently wants to perform stand-up again.
Whoops. All right. So, again, I feel bad for Britney. I think that she has just been abused and taken advantage of, and I can't believe that a judge is allowing it to continue and to continue and to continue. It's disgusting. And it shouldn't be allowed. I mean, imagine how hard this must be on your psyche, to have somebody telling you, oh, you can't do this, or you can't do that, or you're not allowed to do this because I'm the boss of you. You know how well that would work out for me. So I hope that she gets a really good lawyer and kicks those people the fuck out of her life. I mean, Kennedy's saying she's not even allowed to get the lawyer of her choosing. What a load of crap. I have a couple videos left. We don't have any phone callers, so I'm going to go ahead and play another video about U.S. troops leaving Afghanistan. They're not out of there yet, but apparently they have pulled out of Bagram Air Force Base, and I guess that's a key stronghold. So we'll see. You know, there's still 30,000 contractors in Afghanistan, I'm pretty sure. So it's not like we just deserted everything. I'm gonna play this clip real quick. So leaving Afghanistan, and how much we've progressed so far.
Overseas tonight to Afghanistan, where the U.S. has departed Bagram Airfield with little fanfare and withdrawn all its troops from there. One step closer to drawing America's longest war to a close. ABC's chief global affairs anchor Martha Raddatz is just back from Afghanistan, where she flew with the U.S. commander on his last helicopter ride out of Bagram, and what he said he's concerned about when the U.S. is gone.
It was clear when we visited Bagram Airfield last week that U.S. and coalition forces would all soon depart. General Scott Miller circling the 14-square-mile base, the fighter jets gone, and heavy equipment as well. And on the ground, only a few dozen troops in sight. Once the order for full withdrawal came, this became one of the largest and fastest movements of equipment since World War II. Outside the gates today, only Afghan forces remain, a force already facing dire circumstances as the Taliban sweeps through the country, with some in the intelligence community predicting the government here could fall in as little as 6 months. But President Biden today tried to brush aside those concerns.
I met with the Afghan government here in the White House, in the Oval. I think they have the capacity to be able to sustain the government.
Mr. President, to follow on that thought on Afghanistan.
I want to talk about happy things, man.
But there is no happy talk in Afghanistan. Even with some 650 troops remaining to protect the embassy and Kabul airport, General Miller worries about civil war and worse. How alarmed are you?
The loss of terrain and the rapidity of that loss of terrain has to be concerning. We're starting to create conditions here that won't look good for Afghanistan in the future.
That concern shared by many. Let's bring in Martha Raddatz. And Martha, General Miller was there in the beginning of the war nearly 20 years ago when we went into Afghanistan because of the threat to the homeland after 9/11. How much does he still worry about that possibility?
Well, Whit, he still has serious concerns about that. He said al-Qaeda is still in Afghanistan and the threat to the U.S. remains. Whit?
Important reminders. Martha Raddatz for us. Thank you.
All right, so did you get what Joe Biden said there? The reporters are asking him about Afghanistan, right? And they kept asking him about Afghanistan. And he said, I don't want to talk about Afghanistan. I want to talk about happy things, right? So I don't think that that's what the president's job is. You know, they want to act like somehow this is what, you know, we're supposed to do. That's not what the president's supposed to do. The president's supposed to focus on what business we need to take care of, you know. And when the reporters, the people that are supposed to be informing us, are asking him questions about the pullout of our military from a 20-year-old war, he says, I don't want to talk about Afghanistan. I want to talk about happy things. That's not, you know, fuck that guy. He's a horrible, horrible, horrible president. And I just can't believe he's going to make it all the way through his first term. I'm quite sure something is going to happen where he's not able, you know, well, Joe's brain just isn't working right anymore. So we're going to, yeah, his brain hasn't worked right forever. This is why people find it very hard to believe that he was elected. All right, I'm gonna play another video because no one's calling. You can see the video. You can see the telephone number on the screen, right? This is my last video, right? Last video. So if you want to call, I would love to have a conversation with you. Otherwise, we're gonna be out of here in just a sec. Here you go. Last video. What's it about? Oh, Washington State National Guard going to the Texan border. Texas-Mexico border. I thought you might be interested.
The men and women of the Washington National Guard will get a mission if our state's Republican members of Congress get their way. They asked Governor Jay Inslee to send local troops to the southern border with Mexico. And KIRO 7's Essex Porter is live in Seattle with why they're making this request and the governor's answer to that. Essex?
And this is part of a larger immigration drama that is playing out across the country. The Republicans citing the need for public safety. The Democratic governor here seeing a political ploy.
All right, take care now. Yeah.
It's been little more than 6 months since Washington National Guard troops were sent to D.C. to protect the presidential inauguration.
Our troops are going there to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Now Washington's 3 Republican Congress members have a new mission for the men and women of the Guard. They want Governor Inslee to send Washington Guard members 2,500 miles away to help patrol the southern border with Mexico. The request comes in response to a 20-year high in illegal border crossings. Last month, the governors of Arizona and Texas sent every state a letter requesting help under the Emergency Assistance Compact, saying the Biden administration has been unable or unwilling to do the job. In their own letter to Governor Inslee, the Washington Republicans seem to agree with Texas Governor Abbott and former President Trump. They cited the meteoric rise in illegal immigration created by what they call President Biden's open border agenda, and asked Inslee to follow the lead of your fellow governors by deploying National Guard troops to help secure the southern border. KIRO 7 asked for the governor's response as he celebrated the reopening in Seattle.
Stop bringing up these ideological, divisive arguments and start pulling on the rope together to get people vaccinated.
This is not a partisan issue, and Governor Inslee should stop trying to make it one, Representative Newhouse responded in a statement. An open border threatens the safety of all Americans. But Governor Inslee isn't budging.
We don't need divisive political arguments right now. We need to pull together to continue to save lives.
We'll keep track of this and let you know if Governor Inslee changes his mind about sending local National Guard troops to the southern border. Reporting live in Seattle, Essex Porter, KIRO 7 News.
All right, so it looks like we don't have any phone callers, and the clock on the wall says it may be time to go. So if you are interested, we do this every Monday through Friday. Oh, wait a minute. Hello, caller.
Hi. First time caller, long time listener. Just wanted to call in to Oh my god, I'm really nervous right now. I'm really nervous. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. Huge fan. Do you sleep with the fan on?
Sometimes.
Tina! I sort of. Sorry. There's the goddamn dog is barking at me. Okay. Do you sleep with the fan on?
What now? I said sometimes, motherfucker. Listen, open your goddamn ears. All right. So, where were we at? Let's see. Let's see. Where we're like looking at my beautiful babies. There's my beautiful babies. Hi, my beautiful babies. Look at, there they are. All right. So, as I was saying before we were so rudely interrupted, we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back on Monday, maybe. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. And until then, stay cool, because one of these days, this war is gonna end. Stay cool till then.
Trump won the election. Among the suspects' possessions, this is real, a white privilege card. I want you to take a look at this. It's a fake white privilege credit card. Subtitle, Trump's everything. The card holder, scot-free, with 2 T's. Scot-free is actually spelled with 1 T, but, 2 T's on that card. That one piece of evidence, an insight into the man's state of mind, that he can get away with anything because of his skin color. His lawyer saying this to CNN. This was a guy simply...
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. more than 10 years, more than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.
I mean, this coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. I wish the coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition